there, this is Chicago for Season Service Survival. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Friends here. Y'all, this is
because you have to understand that self-defense is a serious business. We do carry forces, advanced forces, make a difference.
one of the tactics that would increase or decrease
in the two-way community.
All right, y'all introduce yourself.
Let's go. Kid, give him 100%.
Johnny You already know what it is. I saw that, and I've done my share. I'm about to put yours up here too. Look at this one. My comment is,
I want.
hey, you'll be back. Hey.
But no, so Marquise Moreno, PC.
Man, it's a messed up situation. Y'all know we already go live on Wednesday early, but we just could not wait because this hits home. This hits home. We're going to save the introductions. Y'all know who we are already. Let's just jump right to it. Yesterday, during July 4th, Independence Day, you already know what happened if you've been paying attention to the news. You know that in Highland Park, Illinois, a suburb. First of all, if you're watching this, go on ahead, like, comment, share, all that great stuff. Get people in on this, share it, like it, whatever the case may be, because we are going to talk about it, because those of you all who are freedom-loving Americans who can still have empathy for those people who have lost their lives, who have been injured, but you know what's coming next, you want to pay attention to this special edition of Trigger with Instructor Mike and Friends. I'm Instructor Mike. You know, Marquise is here. John is here. We're going to show some of the information and the press conferences that are out. Yeah, let's go on ahead because we got some heavy points. Thank you all for those who have watched the live from yesterday when I went live from Highland Park about 2.5 hours after the massacre. I showed up, surveyed the scene outside of the outer barrier. Let's go on ahead and let's just look at some of this press conference stuff that's out in case you all haven't noticed, because some of you all don't get Illinois. Some of you all don't get Illinois media because obviously you're not in Illinois. But if you're watching this, like, comment, share, all that stuff. Let's go on ahead. You said I would rather listen. I would say something, but I'd rather listen and learn some stuff. Terrible tragedy. I watched the 7-hour news briefing. So sad. Well, this one is a different news briefing. You said anyone else have audio? I don't. We're going to watch Vice President Kamala Harris at the site of the Highland Massacre. We will have some comments after that and watch a couple of other things. And I think it's important to watch one of the other news conferences that actually preceded the announcing of charges. And I think that's where a lot of the commentary is going to come from. Without further delay, here we go.
In Highland Park, addressing the crowd there.
Let's listen in. Sorry.
So sorry for what y'all have experienced. And the pain, the suffering. This should never have happened. We talk about it being senseless. It is senseless. It is absolutely senseless. I want for you that you hold each other tight as a community, that you know that you have a whole nation who cares deeply about you and stands with you. This is an incredibly tight community. I know that. And This person will be brought to justice, but it's not going to undo what happened. And we're here for you, and we stand with you. And of course, as we always say, because it is true, our prayers are with you. The president and I and our administration have put all of the resources, and will continue to put all the resources that the mayor and the chief and others need in terms of the federal assistance. So the FBI, the ATF are here. There's a lot of healing that's going to happen that is both physical and emotional. There is no question that this experience is something that is going to linger in terms of the trauma. And so I'd like to urge all the families and all the individuals to seek the support that you so rightly deserve. And we'll deal with what we need to deal with in terms of also as we move forward, all agreeing that we got to be smarter as a country in terms of who has access to what, and in particular assault weapons. And we got to take this stuff seriously as you are, because you have been forced to have to take it seriously. The whole nation should understand and have a level of empathy to understand that this can happen anywhere, in any peace-loving community, and we should stand together and speak out about why it's got to stop. Thank you.
Brief comments there from the Vice President, who was in town for an event at McCormick Place for the National Education Association. But while
Thoughts
On what she just said?
Yeah.
Okay, so number one, how can a person be brought to justice and they're already arrested? So let's talk about how stupid that was. This person can be brought to justice, already arrested. That makes absolutely no sense. Now, as always, I love how she was able to visit Highland Park, but she didn't go to Chicago, where Chicago had how many this weekend? 55?
61.
61. Oh, I'm sorry. I stand corrected. 61 people were shot in Chicago, which is roughly about, I want to say, 30 minutes away from McCormick, where she's attending something else.
Mm-hmm.
But she drove an hour from McCormick to Highland Park. Kind of shows you your priorities. Is it because Highland Park is normally a lot safer than Chicago?
Yeah.
What did you mention earlier? The zip code?
Yeah. If you remember from The Wire, it was said in The Wire when McNulty went with the major case squad to the U.S. attorney in Baltimore, when they were talking about, making it a federal case to try to go after the drug traffickers in that drug organization, the Marlowe Stanfield organization, that the U.S. attorney could give a crap about those folks being killed because they're dead in a zip code that doesn't count. And this is not taking away from those who lost their lives in that Highland Park tragedy and who were injured. Those of you all who follow me on Facebook, I was up there. Marquise provided excellent information while he was on that live. But it is true. Why isn't that same attention being given towards those who lost their lives and injured in Chicago, just like Highland Park?
Because 16 Candles and Home Alone wasn't filmed there.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
The zip code doesn't count.
Yeah.
The only time that zip code counts is when you need votes. And even
Yes.
then, your ass still ain't showing up in Chicago to come get votes.
Man.
You relying on bullshit you relying on BS ads and stupid commercials. Oh, well, we really care about the people. No, you don't. You don't care about the people. You care about the people who matter to you when it's a safe environment for you to come say something. and bet money. And I wish she was. If I'd have known she was coming, I'd have prayed you to go on down. I would have prayed for you to be down there because I wanted you to video the rooftops.
Oh, I guarantee. Oh, you know the high ground was covered. You know the high ground was covered.
Full Overwatch. And then we talking about the shooter. Oh my God. So I sent you some stuff too, but you're talking about a suicide attempt April 2019. In September 2019, a threat to people's lives where 16 plus sharp objects was removed from the house.
Yeah.
So a suicide attempt, threatened to kill people, and he was never reported. Go to any show that we recorded in the last 3 months, and something I've always said, it's not about the background checks. The states aren't reporting. It don't matter about the background check if the states don't report. So you're telling me a suicide attempt wasn't enough to stop you from getting a FOIA card or to get you put on some magical list. You threatened to kill somebody in your household, police show up, remove 16 sharp objects from your house. That would be 5 months later. 5 months later from you attempting suicide, and still nothing says, let me write something down here to try to make sure this person may not have access to a higher caliber of device to hurt himself or somebody else.
Hold on, let me interject on that one real quick. So Highland Park did report him after the knife confiscation in 20 to the Illinois State Police, or in 2019. Illinois State Police did acknowledge on live TV that Highland Police did report him to the Illinois State Police. The Illinois State Police public information officer who was at said live broadcast a couple hours ago said that at that time he did not have a pending FOIA application. Mm-hmm. So therefore there was nothing to be reviewed, denied, refused.
Yeah, I have that right here.
Right. But there's nothing to put anywhere in someone's public record of these type of things.
Well, no, they put it in, they sent it to the state police. What the state police did with it after that is a whole other issue.
Here's the news release right here, guys. For immediate release today, Chicago's in September 2019, Illinois State Police received a clear and present danger report on the subject from Highland Park Police Department. The report was related to threats the subject made against his family. There were no arrests made in the September 2019 incident, and no one, including family, was willing to move forward on a complaint, nor did they subsequently provide any information on threats or mental health that would have allowed law enforcement to take an additional action. Additionally, no firearms restraining order was filed, nor any order of protection. At the time of the 2019 September incident, the subject did not have a FOIA card to revoke or a pending FOID card application to denial. Once the determination was made, Illinois State Police involvement with the matter was concluded. Then in December of 2019, at the age of 19, the individual applied for an FOID card. The subject was under 21 and the application was sponsored by the subject's father. Therefore, at the time of the FOID application review in January of 2020, there was insufficient basis to establish a clear and present danger and deny the FOIA application. Before you all comment, I just want to tell you that this is different from the Henry Platt situation in Aurora, where that person who committed that shooting was a resident of another state and then came back to Illinois, where in that situation, he was charged and convicted of a felony. He only had an FOID card in Illinois, and then he did not, I think the Illinois FOID card did not do a nationwide background check. They only did a local background check of any type of felonies. This was before the Fix the FOIA Act or any other kind of new legislative initiatives that they done previous or currently. Then when they gave him a concealed carry license, I believe. No, they attempted to give him a concealed carry license, but his concealed carry license application was denied. But the FOID, I'm hearing background. Is it for me? That's weird. All right. But the FOID card, I believe, was not revoked. Okay. It's not you, Marquise. It might be
me?
you, John. Yeah. Are you muted? Nope. John.
I'm here. Do you guys hear me?
Am I hearing myself on my own YouTube? No. It's not.
Do you have the YouTube? John?
Huh?
No. Well, I got the YouTube going. The volume going through my radio.
That's what we're hearing, I believe.
Yeah, you probably want to turn that down. That's why we're hearing yourself.
Damn it.
You got Boost Mobile audio in your phone.
How about now? Calm down. I am not Taco Bell internet.
You're fine. I still hear me. Oh man.
All right, I'll take you guys off.
Is it better now? Nope.
How about now?
Is it better? Yeah. We're good. Oh my God. All right, cool. But go on ahead and test your mic, John.
Hello? Check.
Okay,
Mic
yeah,
check.
we hear you. Good. All right. So yeah, in that given situation, I believe they denied the concealed carry license, but didn't revoke the FOID.
No, they revoked the FOID too, but they sent a letter.
Yeah. Instead of going to get them. Right. And so in this given situation, I can honestly say Illinois State Police can't be blamed. They can't be blamed in this one because, and I'll please, I'll open it up, but I'm just saying there were reports that were made, but do we want to live in a world, in a state, in a country where the slightest thing that looks suspect gets reported and stays on that file? Isn't that the fight that we are trying to make against? Don't get me wrong, red flag laws have a place. But you know how much deviant behavior all three of us or any of us could participate on this panel, and it's like, no, but you get what I'm saying?
Nah, because you know the word you used?
Go ahead.
Because the word you used was slight. Attempted suicide ain't slight.
Yeah.
Threatening to kill your whole family.
Sure.
Ain't slight.
Sure.
Their shits is red flag, red doors, red carpet, red room, red eyes. I don't care, dude. If them ain't what the red flag laws are there for, that's problematic. Now, I ain't talking about we broke up and now you mad with me and you trying to leave the house. I really don't care if you left the house, but you don't want me happy. So you go ahead and you go ahead and file a red flag report on me. I ain't talking about that. Attempted suicide, and I'm gonna kill everybody in this house.
But you know what? Having worked in an abused child shelter, we're gonna go there too. Well, hold on, I get it, but we're gonna go there. Having worked in an abused child shelter, having responded to plenty of domestic violence cases, right, involving children. How many teenagers have said, man, I can't wait to blow all these, and they said it out of anger. There was no intent behind it. It was clearly anger fueled. And I'm not saying this guy because it could be something else, but I'm saying we gotta be extremely careful because there's no real parental accountability here. I was just on Newsmax, not Newsmax, but News Nation Live, News Nation Prime, and I was just listening to the attorney for the parents, right, who just happens to be R. Kelly's old attorney, last name Greenberg, right?
They shouldn't have got him.
Well, I don't know, but he seems to have familiarity with them. And what I'm saying is, when we look at that, we are not holding these parents accountable for the traumas they put their children through. just because you have money, and I was just in Highland driving through there. Oh my God, it's beautiful. And a lot of woodland area too. But just because they have money does not mean they don't. And I'm not saying all of them, but just because they have money doesn't mean there aren't families out there, regardless of race, that inflict trauma upon their children that could make them feel as though what this young man did was the only way. And if we're not going to have parental accountability, because of course that would cost votes.
With the parental accountability, so for me, I would love to know, was the mother and father together with the suicide incident, the I'm gonna kill everybody in the house incident, and when he signed a FOIA card incident? Because you're right. I understand that press charges no one pressed charges. It don't negate your eyeballs though.
That's true.
You a cop who walks into this residence and the first thing you're told about is an attempted suicide in April 2019. Okay, you're right. We're not filing charges, but we go ahead and write this down and we're going to put this part of his record.
But you know how politics works in places like Highland Park. Let's go back to Kelly Fox and Kim Fox. Kelly Fox, I'm going to go there. Kelly Fox wasn't even believed on a situation where there was legitimate evidence to arrest the Cook County State's attorney, and the police dare not touch him or her because that's damn near job suicide. Right. Take it to Highland Park. This is a man who has potential prestige or actual prestige in the community enough to even be able to run against the mayor in that town. So who's to say, oh yeah, he threatened to kill the family, but
they swept it under the rug.
Yeah, should we go ahead and do the report? Come on, Officer Johnson. We don't have to go that far. Well, you know, sir, I guess you're right, Bob. I mean, kids these days, they deal with a bunch of stuff, and we're going to go ahead and just leave it to the family to handle it.
So you know what? I'm going to remove my comment I made from earlier then.
You see what I'm saying? And my thing is, we spend so much time. I get what you all are saying in the comments. I really, really do. And he needs to be held accountable for what he did. But the problem is, like I've said before, what if in his mind, he doesn't care about going to jail? What if in his mind, he doesn't care about the consequences? What if in his mind, he doesn't care about dying? That living in that house with his father and that family and the trauma they likely put him through to make him have those ideals, to make him have the mindset to think that that was the only way. What if he didn't care? Oh, so now we've called the police. You guys don't pay attention. You've heard the people you've heard the mayor sit here and say that I knew him. He was quiet. He was a pack leader. You know, you've heard other people that went to school with him saying that, you know, he was a quiet guy. He was reserved. He was recluse. If you look at Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold from Columbine, there was the same thing said about them before. If you look at Adam Lanza from Sandy Hook, it was the same thing said about him before. There is a theme between all of these bullied, ostracized, a social deviant. Oh my God, he is a nerd. Let's fuck with him. Let's do this. Let's do that. And all that pressure built up, and no one, not even the family, believes him. And he thinks that this is the only way.
Mm-hmm. And you know what's crazy about it too? If we look at the laws, if we look at the gun laws that were present, supposedly he lived in Deerfield or he lived in Highland Park. Who knows right now? Here's what's crazy about both of those places. Both of those places have assault weapon bans.
Yes.
Deerfield and Highland. So no matter what they say, no matter where they say he came from, he was in a place where your gun laws say he couldn't have that. And he supposedly had So you gotta imagine he's 22. He turned 21 last year, or we'll say 2 years ago. So we'll say 2020.
No, he's 21 now. He'll turn 22 a little bit later.
Oh, he'll be 22?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And see, the problem is that they are going to, here's this. They have, we're going to watch the press conference shortly and hear them talk about certain things. But I'm telling you what they're going to do in Illinois. We don't have the death penalty. Governor Pat Quinn abolished that. Was it Ryan or Pat Quinn? No, Ryan. Ryan abolished that, did away with the death penalty, where you only get life in prison. Yes, they charged him. We're going to watch that press conference shortly. He doesn't care about jail. He was living at jail. It was said, and you're going to find out in the press conference, right after it was done, he went right to his mom's house.
How do you keep getting this person?
I don't know.
A troll.
Yeah, he's a troll. And you know what? He's apparently he wants to make sure that my viewers can get naked, sex, cheap, and dating girls.
I mean, sometimes.
Hey, by God.
Since gas prices go up, you need cheaper price. You need cheaper rides.
By God. Breakdown of the family, social media. That's what changed in the last 30 years. Shouts out to Jacob. You've seen him on this panel before. You know, and the thing is this. You're going to charge him. They're going to convict him. They're going to put him in jail unless they try to use a mental insanity defense. But I find that hard to be one that could be mounted because the planning that took place. His costume, I seen it. You're going to see his picture shortly. He looks like June was his month. I'm just saying the way that he dressed, there was no red flags about his dress. He wore a lace front. And stop. Okay. No, he wore a wig.
Thank you.
Huh?
Just a wig, man. Just a wig.
No lace front. Fuck it. All right, cool. He wore a wig and he had an American flag around his thing. Now, red flag. He had long sleeves on. It was hot as shit out there yesterday, right? And then
it depends. The fairer skinned people do tend to cover up their arms to avoid sunlight.
Fair enough, right? But here we go. He was dressed as a woman
to escape.
It wasn't, huh?
To escape.
No, he was dressed as a woman en route.
I'm saying this for later on when we get past the press conference.
All right, fair enough. But he was dressed up as a woman. And when you see the American flag and how he was dressed, there was nothing to suggest that he looked anything different from anyone else there. Anything. So I'm like, he was smart. He blended in pretty well, actually. Pretty well. And the thing is, one of the residents said, this doesn't happen here. You found out it does.
Happens anywhere.
You found out it does.
Especially when they're planted.
Yeah. Ooh. This is an unfortunate event that unfortunately takes place in Chicago every day. You folks watching or may watch a little bit later, you thought downtown was safe. It happened downtown. You think Ravenswood and up north is safe. It happens there. It happens there. And until we start making family matter, I don't care if it's black families, white families, other culture, until we start making that shit matter, it's not gonna stop.
Neither is cheap sex, obviously.
Don't let your ice cream melt, John. You gotta eat that shit. And get the naked cheap sex thing. All right. I blocked him. I don't know why he's still here.
He changed his name.
Christy, are you a mod? I know you're a mod, Christy. Is Christy here? Because apparently,
she's there.
Yeah,
she blocked them last time.
Yeah. So let's watch this next news conference because this is going to give even more details. I had a chance to view it, and this is going to give even more details. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you got them. Thank you, Chrissy. You want to be a part of the conversation, stream the chat and make it for subscribers only. It slows them down. Got it. Okay. If you want to be a part of the conversation, maybe later on we'll drop the link, and you can feel free to come up and join us in the conversation. Go ahead, Marquise.
That keeps popping up. He knew exactly what he was doing. But there's some things I want to talk about. Well, I'm going to wait till we're done with the news conference parts because I'm going to tell y'all like this. I hate being that person that believes in conspiracies. Mm-hmm. But when conspiracies look and smell like conspiracies, I like to talk about them. I'm sorry. Yeah. Some stuff don't make no sense.
I'm with you. Let's watch this, and then we could definitely dive into those. Here we go.
Significant amount of information obtained by investigators, and this consists of the extremely hard work by Highland Park Police, the Major Crime Task Force, State Police, ATF, and the FBI. Everybody has been collaborating very well to further this investigation. The community has been absolutely terrific as it comes to reporting information that they have, things they may have witnessed, things they may have seen, turning over video that has really helped us further the investigation and aid investigators. One point I just want to clarify is Robert Primo III, he's 21. He'll be 22 in September of this year, and he's a resident of Highwood. So throughout the past 24 hours, investigators have spoken with numerous witnesses, some of the survivors. They've had the opportunity to review numerous video clips, both from cell phone video recordings and fixed cameras in the area, and they've conducted a number of other follow-up investigations. And based on where we're at this point in the investigation, and some of this is still preliminary, so it is subject to change as we keep moving forward. But we do believe Primo pre-planned this attack for several weeks. He brought a high-powered rifle to this parade. He accessed the roof of a business via a fire escape ladder and began opening fire on the innocent Independence Day celebration goers. The rifle was purchased in Illinois, and the information we have thus far is that it appears to have been purchased legally by Primo. During the attack, Primo was dressed in women's clothing, and investigators do believe he did this to conceal his facial tattoos and his identity and help him during the escape with the other people who were fleeing the chaos. During the attack, we believe that Primo fired more than 70 rounds from this rifle into the crowd of innocent people. Following the attack, Primo exited the roof, he dropped his rifle, and he blended in with the crowd, and he escaped. He walked to his mother's home, who lived in the area, and he blended right in with everybody else as they were running around, almost as he was an innocent spectator as well. He borrowed his mother's vehicle. We issued an alert yesterday afternoon. Chief Jogman provided the vehicle information and Primo's information. We're very thankful that an alert member of the community saw Primo's vehicle traveling southbound on Route 41, dialed 911, and an alert North Chicago police officer spotted the vehicle, waited for additional backup units to arrive, conducted a traffic stop, and they were able to safely apprehend Primo with no injuries to the officers. Inside the vehicle, there was a second rifle located. Indications is that was purchased by Primo as well. Thus far, over 30 people were injured during the attack, and this does not include the 6 who lost their lives. Right now, Primo remains in custody at this time. There are no indications that there was anybody else involved in this attack. By all indications, it appears Primo was acting by himself. The Lake County State's Attorney's Office has been with us from the ground level. They're with us this morning. They were with us through the night. We continue to review the information. Investigators are still developing leads and very critical information. Once we're at a point where we're ready to review all of that information for charges, we will sit down with the state's attorney and review for criminal charges. I'm going to turn this over to the mayor, and then I'll be back up to answer questions. Mayor, thank you.
Today is a day of grieving together, a day to pause, a day to remember those who left us, those who were injured, and for strength for our community. Several vigil and prayer services are taking place today, both inside and beyond Highland Park. They are as follows. The Community Church of Lake Bluff, 117 East Scranton Avenue, Lake Bluff, will hold a prayer service today at noon.
I'm just pushing past that. Not that that's not important. Go ahead, Marquise.
So here's the thing.
At this point, we have.
Why was the guy in the back nodding like he was agreeing with the story being told?
You said what? Talking about the chief?
The chief was nodding like he was agreeing with everything being said. Now, normally, that's usually based on the person who's listening to someone talk and is making sure they got everything right.
Well, yeah,
and
I'm sure.
Watch him.
Yeah.
He's literally in the back going, like, yeah, he got that right.
Yeah.
Which is, again, suspect behavior. You know the same thing I know. So if I'm reporting it, I'm not reporting anything we both don't already know. But you don't have a reason as I'm talking to go, yeah, that sounds about right.
I do that, though.
You do that as we're speaking and what we're making points.
Yeah.
You're stating facts. He's stating what's going on and what's happening.
Yeah.
We nodded to each other whenever we are saying valid points that one of us didn't think of or we agree with.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had already told you my conspiracy theory already hit the mind of my mind and how shit works.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense how if he showed up dressed as a woman, went to a rooftop, shot a bunch of people, got off that rooftop, dressed like a woman, and walked out, how'd they get such a good description on who he was?
Yeah, just like Jacob said, maybe they were in the same briefing. But I get what you're saying now. Yeah.
But again, we saw if some of y'all who might not have seen the pictures, there is no way you would have saw him dressed as a woman, go shoot on the roof, come off the roof, still dressed as a woman, and people had a description of a young white male with long black hair.
That is true. Yes.
And a white shirt.
Yes. Yeah, that is true, because before they even knew who Cremo was, they had already, and you all know because you were watching the live yesterday, Marquise was watching it too. You know, they had given out the description. Matter of fact, I'm going to show the video. Did I put that up there? I don't think I put that up on Facebook. But it was on Facebook where y'all remember when I seen that guy that the state police was walking with, and I'm like, is this him? Is this him? Is this all we knew at the time? It was 18 to 20. It was a male white with long black hair and a white shirt. How did they know that?
With the videos and pictures we got,
yes,
you never saw him dressed like that. He wasn't even dressed like that when he got arrested.
He wasn't dressed like that when he got arrested. He wasn't dressed like that when he was subsequently when he went on the video. So how did they know he had a white shirt? Because I gotta find that picture. Keep going, Marquise.
Yeah. So, and I had told Mike, and I told a couple people this. I have this thing. There is this thing that I'm seeing right now, and I feel like it's a trend. How is it possible for the Uvalde case? You had officers on the scene with rifles and shields who didn't interact. They heard gunfire. They heard people screaming for help. They were receiving phone calls, and no one pushed forward. And then when they finally got questioned about pushing forward, they got told, oh, well, the door was locked. Well, you never checked the door.
Right.
So again, you have a situation where people were ready to act and didn't act on purpose. And it was another person whose wife called him and said, hey, it's some shooting going on over here. I need your ass to come out here.
Right.
And it was the person who had nothing to do with local law enforcement who came and saved the day. Because all local law enforcement didn't make a move. Yes. Do I feel like it's a conspiracy? Is something kind of going on? Yes, I do. Because it doesn't make sense how there's video of officers with shields, officers with AR-15s. And we talked about the stack. The stack without a shield, I'm going to tell you like this. I'm not going to say from experience, it's none of your goddamn business. But when you on a stack, that first man goes in knowing either A, I'm getting first shot, or B, I'm first death for you to get the shot.
Yep.
That's the mindset right then and there. But take this factor and add a shield. So now what's your fear? What's your complex now? If I have a shield coming through the door, what am I scared of now?
Right.
Because my second person supposed to be able to get that shot off. So now, again, that's my first conspiracy. Why in the hell would anyone listen to kids being shot and killed and not make a move? It's not in nobody's heart to hear that shit unless something you were being told not to do something specifically. Then you got this shooting. It is amazing how a person who was in disguise got identified correctly and was not smart enough to remove the serial number off the rifle.
Yes.
For a pre-planned event.
Yep.
And all he did was drop the rifle. So they magically found the rifle, knew exactly who had it, had a full description of the person, even though in disguise, and knew where to go next. Well, let's go to his mother's house. Was the FOI card in his mother's address?
Yeah. And I'm wondering, who was that plate registered to? Because that's his mom's car. So how did they know? Because when they released the information, they said it was 18 to 20, male white shirt, black long hair. Then when they released the name, they gave an age, which was 22 instead of 21, and they gave the plate of a 2010 Honda Fit with a license plate David Mary 803 such and such and such. It was like 5 numbers after that.
Mm-hmm.
If the car is his mom's and not registered in his name, how did they connect the car to him unless they know that he drives his mom's car?
And all this was done in less than 12 hours. But you had John corrected me. You had 61 people shot over the weekend, now one arrest. So you telling me y'all so damn good, y'all figured this out in less than 12 hours, but 61 people were shot and not one arrest? I'm sorry. I'm not going. It's in my line of work, this is called an orgy of evidence. That's what this is called, an orgy of evidence. I'm gonna put you like this. No law enforcement office does their job this damn good. I'm sorry. The last time I ever saw someone do this job this good, it still took them 48 hours. And I think it was Dwayne Wade's cousin who got shot on the front lawn.
Yeah.
And I think that was about 48 to 72 hours.
NBC5.
Yep. I think that was 48 to 72 hours. And then you had the congressman who I think his nephew or grandson got his shoes taken. That was done within 24 hours. But this, with a disguise, y'all figured out who the hell the shooter was?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man, stop. I'm not going. And it's just mere coincidence. As soon as this happened, Biden was already doing a press conference and Kamala Harris comes into town. Matter of fact, here's a question. This is for the viewers. Did anyone know Kamala Harris was in town before they knew she was coming for the shooting?
Yeah, I knew she was going to be in town.
You knew she was in town from McCormick Center?
Yeah, from the McCormick Center. Yeah.
Okay, so you knew.
Yeah, but it wasn't like it was broadcasted like, yeah. But they knew she was coming.
Like I said, this is
If
scary.
you're watching on YouTube, please hit that like button. Please hit that like button. Please hit that like button because the like button gets the algorithm so more people can join this conversation. Please, if you support this, please hit that like button. I am watching the likes, and it's just because this needs to be a broader conversation. Keep going, Marquise.
Like I said, it's scary. If you're willing to do this, if you're willing to kill people to make a point, that's some scary shit. You let kids die in Uvalde to make a point.
Yeah.
You let innocent people who went to a parade die to make a point.
Yeah.
There's no way. And then, matter of fact, this is total bull because even the news reports said that they had surrounded a house in Deerfield. So Deerfield isn't within walking distance of Highland Park.
Right.
So why was Deerfield brought up? That was on news reports. The cops have surrounded a house in Deerfield. Deerfield is about 15 to 20 minutes away driving.
Right.
So if his mother stays in Highland Park, does his father stay in Highland Park? Like I said, this was way too structured for a planned attack with an orgy of evidence and a clean getaway. He literally got away with it because guess what? You're looking for a man with long hair and a white shirt. I'm dressed as a fucking woman.
Yeah.
You're not looking for me.
And then why would he have? The crazy thing is, if he came there dressed as a woman, why would he then ditch the costume to then come out in his in who he is amidst all of those cameras? That's like a sniper or the Navy SEALs filling in with their camouflage and then just saying, fuck it, we go naked. We go naked.
It makes no sense. And then you talk about a fire escape. I'm trying to figure out, okay, so I sent a picture yesterday of of the location. Okay, so he got up the fire escape undetected during business hours because the place was still open and got off the fire escape. So with all the shooting going on, and guess what? Guess what most parades have in the local vicinity? Begins with C, rounds with cops.
Right.
So you're telling me shooting from the top of the roof, he had time to get down from the roof with his, now we're hearing, with his rifle because he dropped it to blend in. So he had time to get off the roof undetected, drop his rifle undetected, walk through the crowd undetected, walk to his mother's house, and could have literally sat there. Hey, honey, where you been? Oh, nowhere. I just been out.
Could just play dead.
So you telling me he's a mastermind that planned this for 2 weeks and got caught in 15 to 20 minutes after he borrowed his mama's car? Come on, man, stop. I'm not going. I'm not.
Yeah.
And like I said, you have two mass shootings that no one can make sense, and neither one focused on the shooter. Uvalde, no one focused on the shooter. Why? Because he's a part of the alphabet community. No one's going to focus on him. Bet money, there's going to be no focus on him.
Go.
Because what was the first thing that was said? He used the high-powered
rifle.
Come on, man.
You see how he was dressed?
Come on, man.
That's how he was dressed.
Man. Stop it. You can't tell me from that picture you identified a white male with long hair with a white shirt on. Come on, man. Stop it. That's like literally going to R. Kelly's cell and getting him confused with Bill Cosby. Stop it.
That's a hell of a it's the way you put that, Marquise. That's it's definitely oh my God.
Look at that. There's no dude. Can you do a side by side of that picture and what he looks like?
No. Well, let me see. Hold on.
Because you can't tell me. You cannot tell. Come on, man. Come on, man. So you want me to look at that picture and look at the other dude picture and be like, yeah, that's the person that we're looking for.
He probably had foundation on his face to paint the 47 and awake. No, he had a bang.
And with a bang. So matter of fact, I would tell you like this. Me and my wife just watched this movie called The Bad Guys about the big bad wolf, the snake, a tarantula, and a piranha. The shark was the master of disguise. Everyone believed the shark's disguise. This is what I'm looking at right now. This is the damn shark disguising themselves as a person that no one notices is a damn shark. Stop it. Stop it. Unless that parade had methamphetamines blowing through the air.
Lakita's got a point. Lakita has got a point. So no one at the house he left saw him leave dressed as a woman.
Nah.
It's possible, but
it is possible because they actually said he stayed in a back apartment.
But you still need to borrow your mama's car? Stop it. Stop it.
So if he went to go borrow his mom's car, how did he get there?
He walked, supposedly. He walked there to go do his damage, and he walked back.
So then that brings back up Lakita's question. Did anybody see him? And I would be curious if mom's got a Ring camera on her door. Not that they would need to have that because this is Highland.
Right, it's Highland.
It's Highland Park. You know what I'm saying? Huh, we don't break into each other's houses out here. That's a you guys thing in Chicago. We have money and Chick-fil-A. I don't know if they have Chick-fil-A. But you said unless he dressed like a woman, often it wasn't questionable. Remember, Renee, didn't we just talk about this the last time? The situation in Uvalde. Didn't we say that because of this current culture that we're in now, shit that might cause you to question something? Go ahead.
Robert McDonald brought up that point I brought up, and I'm glad he brought it back up because
sorry, John.
Why would you see some shit and not take it seriously and not write a report?
Politics.
So you gonna take the shit but not write a report?
Yes.
That's scary.
Yes.
Like they should have
I can tell you firsthand without saying names. Yes, that shit happens in small, matter of fact, big departments too, but definitely in small departments. Oh, yes. Yes. And we don't know nothing as much about his father, mother, and
we know his father ran for mayor.
Yeah, his father ran for mayor, but we don't know. That's just like trying to go to Oberweis's house. You know who Jim Oberweis is, the dairy guy.
Back off. That milk and that cheese and that bacon is amazing.
You know it. But what I'm saying is, and I bet you them cops in Highland Park make a lot of money. A lot of money. I can almost guarantee you they saw something and was like, we ain't got nothing to say. Well, you gonna report it? Shit, I just bought a house. Nope. It's suicide. It is career suicide. And then it's like you're at an apex of decision. Well, I gotta do the right thing because I'm thinking about the potential victims. What if he never shot anyone? Like, what if yesterday did not happen and then the cop lost their job? That can happen. That has happened. I'm just saying it. When you think you're doing the right thing, telling you, oh man, people talk about police departments all the time. You don't know the half of it as to why police function the way they do and the shit that even in Illinois, well, let's report it to the Illinois State Police. Who are we talking about? Bobby Crimo? You mean the person who donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to such and such? No, the fuck we're not. We're not about to sit there and do anything unless we got some highly credible evidence.
Yeah, a library named after him. What you talking about?
Shit. We are not about to do that, by God. We're not about to. And that's what I'm saying. People don't understand that aspect of it. Well, here the state police dropped the ball. Sometimes the ball gets dropped because they just take a chance.
Yep, because technically that wasn't the state fault. That was the city fault. I blame the city on that one because technically that was a discussion that happened with the Aurora shooter. Because the Illinois State Police said, hey, we told Highland Park, we told Aurora about the situation and we told them to go get him. And Aurora was like, no, we ain't get no letter that said to go get him. It's like, what? So y'all sent the letter to him to let him know he wasn't supposed to have a gun and he'd go turn in like you're supposed to because criminals do what the hell they're told. Then you got told that Illinois State Police told Aurora through a letter to go pick him up.
Yeah, that works. But here's this too, Elise. I want to comment on what you said. Elise McNabb from Facebook said exactly why an obvious mental illness shouldn't lead to people being bullied into pretending it's reality. Nope, I don't play those games. So let's talk about how this could have played. Let's talk about that because you get put in a mental establishment for a period of time. Apparently, some people have forgotten about sociopaths. Apparently, people haven't forgotten or haven't paid attention to folks who are very good at playing calm, cool, and collect just to get out of the mental hospital and then go get the same firearms and exact their vengeance. Let's look at someone like, oh, I'm going to go there. Here we go. Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber.
Ooh.
Let's go there.
Okay, we can take his face down.
His family's from Illinois, too.
We can take his face down now, though.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. His family's from Illinois, too. Let's go there. Right? Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. Well, from Illinois? Yeah, it's from Illinois.
But his was about an ideology, though.
We could claim mental illness.
He was really smart and focused on ideology.
Smart. Here we go. You could be two things. Two things could be the case. You could be smart as shit and still have mental illness. No, I get where you're going, though. His was about an ideology. But if you took a Ted Kaczynski and dropped him into today's culture, we're not talking about back then. We're talking about.
Oh, no, they just bail him out.
Oh, well, no, I don't. Okay, fair enough. But that didn't happen in Cook County. But I'm just saying, today they would have tried to label him mentally ill.
Or a hero.
If you watch the Unabomber documentary, and even if you watch the Unabomber, it's on Netflix now, The Manhunt for the Unabomber, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a TV show, but that stuff has real life events in it. If you were to watch that, you would see very smart kid, came from a family, mother, father, brother, all that great stuff. That's so white picket fence great. What was he? Socially awkward. Very smart, socially awkward. Had a fun time with his brother playing in the woods till the brother decided to go on ahead and like girls, like boys do. Whatever. You get it, right? Now all of a sudden he's paying attention to the boys, and now all of a sudden, shit, you don't want to play with me, your brother? Fuck it. So now he starts to get a little destructive. Starts to be destructive. It starts to blow up stuff, things like that. Then that's what starts it. Then he goes to Harvard, right? Very, very smart. Trying to participate into one thing. And Harvard, you're big on conspiracies, Marquise. If you saw that, you would have seen all the shit they did to Ted Kaczynski to turn him into this thing. I have said it before and I've said it again. We in America are great at creating terrorists.
Yeah, we are.
We are great at creating terrorists. We are great at creating enemies. People want to complain about the crime going on in Chicago. You fuck these families up to where they don't have shit to be able to teach their kids, to where they feel that drugs and crime is the fucking way. And now you want to collect the guns from the people who need to defend themselves. You don't give a shit about families, be it middle-class whites or even upper-class whites, and you damn sure don't give a fuck about black families. Then you want to say, well, we got a gun problem. No, the fuck we don't. We got a family problem.
We had family problems for a very long time.
We got
family
a government
and poverty problems.
Yes, we got a government problem interfering into the lives of families. And without family, you don't have shit.
And look at some of the laws they just passed that's going to happen. That happened July 1st, dealing with DCFS and Child Protective Services. It is CPS then. I'm sorry. Because I didn't want to get it mixed up with Chicago Public Schools.
Fair enough.
But you're passing all these laws now. It's like you didn't know this stuff already was wrong and existed. You know this stuff was wrong and it existed. Matter of fact, what was that case a couple of years ago? The social worker came out to the house and saw the house was in bad disregard, and one of the kids was missing, and come to find out the kid was in a couch cushion.
Yeah, that was Samaje. Samaje out there in Joliet. Or better yet, the white kid. I forgot his name.
The one that got killed inside his own house.
Yes.
And they did a full search for months.
DCFS, yes. You know, and it's like I sat there and watched a presser with Mayor Lightfoot, Congressman Samaje Crosby, yes, Mayor Lightfoot, Raul, who's the CEO at Aunt Martha's, Superintendent Brown, Congressman Kelly, Father Mike Flager, Alderwoman Garza from the ward that's close to the Indiana border, and they were praising this whole thing about violent crime and the Safer Communities Act, and how you could just walk 10 minutes to Indiana and get a gun and get this, and this is going to do a lot to sit here and help families, you know, fight gun violence. No, the fuck it's not. Until we start making family the centerpiece and providing resources. Don't get me wrong. I'm on the other part of that conversation about resources, because if you don't teach families about what resources exist, if you were to drop new ones in, that doesn't mean they would make good use of them. But I still believe that if you stop robbing these communities of resources, you start holding parents accountable, you start making parent advocacy the thing where you start, well, you know what, if you don't know how to do it, let us teach you. Well, no, we don't want, no, you don't have an option. Bring your ass in here, or we taking your link. I'm gonna fucking go there. You want to keep this link, you gonna get on this goddamn parenting classes. You want to keep this link, y'all gonna enroll in these home economics classes, and you gonna bring your baby daddy too, because I'm tired of you coming to my office as the caseworker talking all this shit about him. You ain't gotta like him, you ain't gotta fuck him, but you shouldn't be doing it by yourself. Until y'all start putting an emphasis on family, it's going to continue to happen, but that's what they want. They want it to continue to happen because it gives them talking punchlines.
Yep. And that's the whole thing. Family is not important. Family, hell, think about it. When the last time you saw a commercial about anything family oriented besides going to Wisconsin Dells or some type of resort?
Mile after magnificence. I can't even say it right. I meant to say mile after magnificent. I fucking just go.
You don't see. Remember back, and I hate to be this person. Remember back in the day when there used to be commercials that was like, you know, as a family, go out there and go do this. And there used to be commercials of families going on walks or God, man, it used to come on channel. They used to be channel 7, channel 5, and channel 2. There used to be family commercials where it showed families doing stuff.
Yes.
We don't even have that anymore.
No.
Unless we're talking about cell phones and computers.
Because see, here's this. This is Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu said it best. When the industrial period was in, family mattered because you needed bodies to work in industries. Now we are in the computer age. The family doesn't matter. The single family matters because the more little thumbs you have to hit those like buttons, hit that subscribe shit, hit that this, hit that that. We don't need families anymore. They've made robots be able to do the job of humans. We've shut down factories and shut down steel mills. If you ever watch The Wire and you watch the second season of The Wire, it is important to watch that because you clearly see how the steel mills, that was a family thing. The unions were a family thing. And now it ain't just black folk, it's white folk too in the middle and lower classes too. When they fuck over families because they don't give a shit about them anymore, that's when you start to see despair. That's when you start to see drugs. That's when you start to see hopelessness. And then you try and then you lose a job and then you get charged and convicted of some shit. You go right on in, come right back on out because prison industry is a fucking thing because somebody has to build that furniture. Someone has to build that building. Someone has to build that. They don't want it to stop because they benefit from it too much. That's why we the people got to be the one to stop this shit.
Yeah, think about it. How do you have a government that's going to tell you we need your guns so we can protect you from people who have guns when your war on drugs has drugs inside of jails where you control the people in jail? You got walls where people are still selling drugs, creating drugs. You have walls where they're still creating sharp objects to kill each other. You have walls where they're still creating guns inside the jails. But you want to tell me, here, I trust you in defending my life against people who don't give a shit about the laws you create against me. But you also want me to raise my child a specific way based on what you feel are my standards for raising my child. Because again, Hunter Biden is amazing. So I feel like this. People sit here and they keep forgetting. Yeah, I'm a firm believer it still takes a village. But we don't have the mentalities no more because people have raised their kids to say, forget you, Miss Walker, get back in that house. I remember back in the day walking down the street and one of my boys, Dale Curse, you had Miss Walker, you had Miss Jones, Jackson, whoever else was on the porch. Hey, boy, don't be out here cursing. I tell your mama, you know what? I'm sorry. Please don't do that. Now, man, I saw this and she was fine as fuck. Boy, you better be using it. I'm gonna tell your mama, bitch, get your ass back in the house. Okay. So that village is gone. When people are scared to call the cops, even though they're seeing bad stuff happen in their neighborhoods, that's not fair. That's not fair. And God forbid if you arm people who insist they want to make a better life in their communities, now you're going to call them vigilantes. You're not going to call them victims anymore, though. So my thing is this. I feel like with more opportunities in other neighborhoods, let's see what happens. Because all I hear about, let's take this, let's take this, let's take this. But I've never heard any politician, well, besides Trump, that said, let's put stuff in these communities to rebuild these communities, to put money into these communities, to see what happens and see if we can help them. Let's make it so people aren't dependent on the government. That was done and it was attempted.
Mo, we had a conversation a long time ago, and Mo is my dear friend. We went to high school together. Remember the conversation you told me about what happened when a certain person got elected and how the jobs started rolling in, and can I talk about that just a little bit? I'm getting her permission, and I don't want to just say it out there, and I'll wait till I see you, give me the yes or no or whatever. But it's it's one thing when, you know, we could sure use a fucking mean tweet right now. I ain't gonna lie, man. I just
a mean tweet and some good ass gas prices.
I'm telling you, all right, Mo. So yeah, we were talking, and she was like, man, prior to 45 being brought in, things was dry. And when 45 got elected and he was, you know, make America great, America first, America this, America that, I was like, shit. Yes. And it's like, say what you want to say. But we the people, I got to say this. People want to sit here and talk about what Highland Park felt. What did the congressmen and senators feel on January 6th?
Which aspect?
How they felt when they were about to lose their lives. How they felt when they I'm just saying, they ran like they ran like it was real. They ran like it was real. They ran like it was real. And my thing is this, if you really care about the defense of the people, why would you go after the very things that you relied on the police having? If we don't have a conversation about getting rid of guns, fuck it. No one gets to have them. Not even the police, not the Secret Service, not the military. Let's disarm our nukes. Let's just sit the military down, turn them into the South. Then let's talk about how secure we are. But you know you don't believe the BS that you talking, because you know that if everybody got rid of those guns and we had no nukes, we had no this, how long do you think it would be before America fell?
Hell, think about the fact that after January 6th, what was the first two things that happened?
They had the National Guard come in.
Number one, they had the National Guard come in with guns with no magazines.
Which was stupid.
No, but it makes total sense. Because what you said was people don't need firearms to protect themselves. But the first thing you did was call in a National Guard with guns and no magazines. Why? Because the thought of a gun in someone's hand is more than enough to keep your ass away from them. What? You're telling me someone with a weapon can be used as a deterrent from you committing a crime? Like, I don't know, come over here, mess with us? Mm-hmm. And the second thing they did was erect a wall.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep. Long wall, too.
So you put the two things up.
Walls.
So you put the two things up to surround the Capitol that you said Americans don't need daily. Is there a level of hypocrisy we don't know about yet? Is this so? You're really, if you look at the way things are right now, it is a do as I say, not as I do complex. Mm-hmm. Because you know what? If you guys feel the gas prices are too high, you should go out there and get you an electric car. The limos aren't electric. The president's convoys aren't electric cars. They're hybrids that still take gas.
Yep.
When you go about on Air Force One, that's not an electric airplane. And I'm pretty sure Kamala Harris didn't come here on no damn Amtrak.
Boy, Kamala Harris came in on a doggone Suburban. It was like 5 of them parked out front. Seen that.
So not even bad. Take a look at what it takes to make a battery for the electric cars.
Oh my God, it takes generators.
Coal.
Right. It's like, dude,
metal,
come on.
Copper. All things that need to be mined.
I'm just
saying. Then let's not be told that there's an evil rumor that some of the oil reserves got released, but not to America. Yeah, but somebody put his ass in office, though.
And I'm going to tell you one person who probably hurt by Obama too. Jesse Jackson Jr.
Before or after he got arrested for the Michael Jackson glove?
I don't know nothing about no Michael Jackson glove, but Jesse Jackson Jr., we could argue, felt betrayed by Obama when it was alleged that Jesse Jackson Jr. was trying to get the seat that Obama vacated, which was not true. But that's what started the investigation into his life that got him in trouble. And Obama should have been the one to bail him out, but he didn't, because politics makes strange bedfellows.
Almost like tapped phone calls on someone saying they should put someone else's seat when Pritzker was before he was governor.
Boy,
that was released to the public.
Jesse White was the safe Negro.
Or the fact that Trump is racist, but you got recordings and video of talking about how clean and articulate Obama is and why he'd be a great president, because he's clean and articulate. He's one of the most clean and articulate Negroes I've ever met. But again, we not finna go there. No. We don't want to use that. Like I said, ignorance now is a choice. Ignorance now is a choice.
Yeah. I loved it when Blagojevich got let go. I listened to him all the time. I thought that man was going to come back out with a firestorm and just let that shit just ride. And I'm sure he's done it from time to time, but he just want to live his life and just enjoy his daughters. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting here like, man, Blagojevich ain't do nothing that any other politician hadn't done already with the same opportunities. They just didn't like his ass because, like you said, he was the fall guy. You know what I'm saying? You looking at this situation with this Robert Cremo, you know, is it possible that he did it? Yes. Can they prove that he did it? We'll find out. But he's just nothing but the fall guy for the speaking points, because I just find it rather suspicious that right after the Supreme Court released the decision in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin, and that struck down New York's concealed carry law and struck down the concealed carry laws of several other states that would allow their citizens to be able to have a firearm to protect themselves. We need something to justify our cause. You remember how Dave Chappelle said, Mike, we're going to need you to jerk off another kid. Oh my God, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a similar situation, that they found someone who was willing to be the fall guy for the agenda.
Yep. Which is why I said Uvalde and Highland.
And I'm gonna go I'm gonna do the Joe Biden shit. Here we go. How Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for him, you ain't black.
That must have been the most Oriental, Latino, Indonesian, African / Australian, New Zealand ass individual, because I did not vote for that. No.
I'm telling you, if you are black and you vote against guns, you are voting against your best interest, because when they seek to enforce that, who the fuck do you think they're going to practice on first?
I'm going to tell you like this. An unarmed person is a slave. I don't give a damn what skin color you hold. An unarmed person is a slave.
Facts.
That is just the way it goes. There's a reason why specific things happen a specific way. There's a reason why certain countries fear their government.
Okay.
Like, for example, we all know about the Roe versus, we're not going to go there, but everyone knows about it.
Right.
One of the first news reports that I saw came out of Brazil. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, if you know anything about Brazilian area, that's one of the most lawless areas that ever existed. Let me phrase that. They have law, and they cops don't play. So we not gonna. They cops don't play, but the citizens are unarmed. The criminals are armed, and the police are armed. These two groups are armed, not this group. So one of the first reports that came up after Roe versus that was a report of a 10-year-old girl in Brazil who was raped by one of her relatives, and how she got pulled from her home to live in a shelter so she can give birth because she couldn't have that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So your first example of this was to go to Brazil. Like, that's how far you have to go to try to make your point about Roe versus Wade, is to go to Brazil, but yet you won't make that same point and go to that same country to talk about how the citizens are unarmed and live in constant fear of both their government and criminals. How do you pick and choose what countries to play with to pull your agendas, but you won't pull that agenda? Mm-hmm. How literally you can go to YouTube and type in crime in Brazil. That shit finna be live and lit. You finna see many videos pop up of regular citizens getting robbed, getting stabbed, getting chopped with a machete, getting shot. You finna see a bunch of people in fear for their life. But guess what they don't have? They don't have mass shooters. That's your standing argument? Is that they don't have mass shooters, but they have extremely violent crimes? That's your standing argument. You on mute, John. John, you on mute.
I'm gonna chime in. I've kind of been quiet for a while, kind of gathering myself on a lot of this, and I'm gonna piggyback off of some of the stuff that you just said, Marquise. It's funny how we were in Afghanistan for what 20 plus years, and
2001.
You know what I mean? From all different sides and groups and this, that, and the other. Why are we there? Why are we poking our nose in their business? Why are we poking our nose in their business? But the second Ukraine's getting attacked, okay, we want to donate everything underneath the sun to help a country, you know what I mean, that wasn't our friend for many years. But you're going to leave the homeless veterans that fought for your rights here out on the streets with no food, nowhere to sleep.
Plug it, John. Plug it.
Nothing of any sort.
Come on, put that out there.
So worried about what is going on out elsewhere. And you want to, obviously, and you reference Brazil with all the violent crime. Okay? Look at Chicago every fucking weekend. Look at Chicago every weekend. But what is anyone doing to raise money to help Chicago? The agendas are so crossed across the board that it's freaking insane. It is genuinely insane. And yes, I obviously have my opinions, and some of them align with everyone in regards to, you know what I mean, Fall Guy and conspiracy. Anyone that's obviously heard me talk at different points, I've thrown out some of my different theories at different points, and I'll leave it what it is. Right now, there is not enough facts for me to state any of my theories, which is why they'll stay theories for right now. That's me personally. But I have completely thought about some of the things that Marquise and Mike have both said. Those things have crossed my mind. I have had some other ones as well. It's obviously, we know it's tragic. That's here nor there. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to discount it in any way, shape, or form. We all know it's tragic. So that's kind of already inevitable. The whys and everything else, and everyone obviously wants to keep calling assault weapon. When the Second Amendment was written, you know what I mean, it wasn't written with assault weapons. It was written with muskets. So nobody got attacked with muskets ever. Nobody ever attacked anyone with a musket. I mean, an attack is an assault, correct? Or the beginning of an assault that can move into other charges by our criminal code. So a musket was an assault weapon, right?
Yep.
But it doesn't align with their agendas. I mean, at the end of the day, if you disarm everyone, then yeah, guess what? You can have control, can't you?
Mm-hmm. All of it. Yep.
We constantly pollute and continue to pollute, and everyone wants to blame the gun, blame the gun, blame the gun. I know someone, I think Jacob had said it earlier. Okay, guns are banned. He ran everybody over with a Honda. Ban Hondas?
I blocked him.
Mm-hmm.
Ban Hondas? Hondas are no longer allowed on the street. It's an assault car.
Exactly.
Like I said, I've been quiet for a while, and I've just been kind of taking everything, reading comments, you know what I mean, listening to everyone. There's a lot that just doesn't make sense. I mean, across the board. How did they get so much information so fast? You know what I mean? Was there obviously video footage? Were they pulling security footage? I mean, again, how were they with, you know what I mean, there at the boy's house within a very short amount of time? Descriptions, everything else underneath the sun. You know what I mean? There's a lot of shit that's suspect.
And they said they did an F-tip check through the ATF. No, you're fine. They said they did an F-tip check, and when they did that F-tip check, they were able to get it right to who owned it, where he lived, stuff like that.
Okay, so here's a good one for you. Does anybody know what the process is for an F-tip check?
I do.
I do.
I've ran those, yeah.
So, an F-tip check starts like this. Said firearm is found by the police.
Mm-hmm.
Police then reach out to ATF.
Mm-hmm.
ATF calls gun manufacturer, says, here's serial number of said firearm. Where did this gun go to? They then tell you what wholesaler it was sent to. Okay?
Then you got to go to that person.
Then you got to go to the wholesaler.
Yep.
The wholesaler then says what gun store that gun went to.
Mm-hmm. And then you got to go to that person.
Then you got to go to the gun store.
Yep, 4473.
And now the gun store has to find that person's go into their system, and hopefully they're electronic.
Now,
you know,
yeah,
because there's a lot of older gun dealers that are old school bound book.
Mm-hmm. It's F-tip.
So now they got to go into their system and then find, you know what I mean, the person that purchased said firearm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Based off of their transaction control number, based on their 4473.
Yep.
Then obviously the police will know what person did that. So, what wholesaler was in business on July 4th?
What government agency was available on July 4th?
Well, ATF.
I can get government agency because they can access shit on the fly.
Yeah.
But what public business wholesaler was in business on the 4th? What gun store?
Well, I was on. Well,
I know there's a couple, but there's a majority of the time most gun stores are already closed on Monday.
You know what? Hey, no, Paul, John, to take the win out of Mike's sales. You went to a place wouldn't exist in Highland Park.
Me?
Just so keep that in mind.
Come on, me.
You went to a place that wouldn't exist in Highland Park.
That's true.
You were saying, John.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? What are most businesses, you know what I mean, open on the 4th of July?
Yeah.
Especially gun stores. Especially most gun stores are closed on Sundays and Mondays because that is their weekends.
Well,
you'd be surprised. Look around a lot of gun stores because Saturday is their prime day.
Right.
A lot of gun stores are closed on Sundays and Mondays as their weekend for their people.
Fair.
The ones that
it depends on the nationality of people who run it.
Yes, absolutely. Based on there's a lot of context that goes with that. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That is true, my friend, because
trust me, I get it. So again, how did you get all this information?
I stopped Marquise. I stopped.
You know what I mean? I've had to deal with several different traces at different points.
Mm-hmm. And it is not instant.
It's not.
And they would tell you we will call you back.
And like I said, everything was done in less than 12 hours.
Because contrary to popular belief, when you fill out that 4473, nobody other than the gun store knows the gun that you bought.
Yep.
Especially in Illinois.
Check that box where it says pistol revolver, shotgun, rifle, other.
And when they're
checked on the actual electronic version,
and when they're doing a NICS check, they're only checking your identity. They're not checking the type of gun that you are purchasing.
Nope.
That only goes on a 4473.
Absolutely.
You can buy multiple guns. The only time that there's a multiple gun report submitted
it's not alcohol.
This multiple handgun report is when you buy 2 or more handguns in a 5-day period.
They thought this was alcohol. This
was 5.
It's a grapefruit Izzy.
If you buy 2 or more handguns in a 5-day period, then they will submit what they call a multiple handgun report.
Yeah.
I guess I'll
to
alert
ATF and other people that you've purchased 2 handguns, which are obviously concealable, in a very short amount of time.
Shit, I've been flagged. I bought like 3 Glocks in one day for my students.
Then yes, you absolutely had a report submitted on your behalf.
Fuck. I mean, darn.
So it's honestly crazy to say, and I'll go back to it again. I mean, everyone is worried about everything else that's going on outside our country. And granted, I'm not sitting there saying no one's worried about it, because obviously we have Highland. Everyone and their mother screaming about Highland. Everyone and their mother screaming about Uvalde. Everyone and their mother screaming about Roe v. Wade. Everyone and their mother screaming about everything underneath the sun. The guy that just got shot 60 times in Akron, Ohio. Okay, everyone and their mother screaming about all this stuff. I get it.
The gun, we don't have gun registry.
About the people that are here on a daily basis. You know what I mean? We want to talk about the 60 rounds fired on the gentleman in Akron, Ohio. Please forgive me. I can't remember his name off the top of my head because I've had 1,000 names written through my head in the last 24 hours.
Sure.
Where was I going? Everyone wants to talk about Uvalde and how sad it is that so many children got killed. Everyone wants to talk about Highland Park. You know what I mean? 4th of July celebration. Everyone's supposed to be able to celebrate independence, and you can't even do that. Hell, we just had an alert a little bit ago at Brookfield Zoo.
I'm sorry, what?
At Brookfield Zoo, about 2 hours, well, actually about 4 or 5 hours ago.
There was a shooting?
It wasn't a shooting. They had a threat of violence, so they actually shut down the park and locked everyone down in place. At 7:30, they were going building to building, releasing people.
The monkeys fighting again.
We have lost a lot of our ways across the board. People continuously want their rights. You know what I mean? I want to be able to identify as a freaking frying pan. I want to identify as whatever the case may be. And you know what? I'm happy for you. You know what I mean? Identify as whoever the hell you want. At the end of the day, I really don't care. But don't forget your morals. Don't forget your ethics. Don't forget where you came from. Yes, adults, parents need to be held accountable. Too many people are trying to be butthurt all the fucking time. Can't nobody correct anyone. Can't nobody give anyone constructive criticism. Everyone's ass gets fucking chafed.
You can't disagree with nobody.
You can't disagree with anyone, you know what I mean? Because then they're going to unfriend you on Facebook. That's like fighting words. It's honestly pathetic. You know what I mean? Social media has become the pathetic aspect of our nation.
Dude. Because everything's about, hey, look at me. And that's a scary thought that even with what happens in our daily basis with the active shooters, I hate that damn term, with the stuff that happens in Chicago, you always see some of the same damn posts. Hopes and prayers, thoughts and prayers go out to... Who the hell is looking at your post to say your thoughts and prayers are to the people in Highland? Your thoughts and prayers are to the people in Chicago. Your thoughts and prayers are to the people in Uvalde. Your thoughts and prayers are to Ukraine, to actually give a shit that you have thoughts and prayers for them.
Sorry, Ashley.
I never understood that.
Yeah.
I never understood that concept. And it's like literally, oh yeah, that's powerful right there. Let me like that. It's like, what? I had made a post about how I want to start helping low income families with concealed carry. I got criticized because I said, well, no FOIA card necessary.
I love you too.
Well, no, they're going to need a FOIA card because, people are crazy. They can't bring a gun to my class without a FOIA card. And my students get fingerprinted on the first day. So again, what is my FOIA card going to do with training people? It's your ability to get a FOIA card to do it. But guess what? Be happy I'm doing something or asking to do something to help people out who can't afford it. But again, it's about the criticism about the FOIA card. It's like, really? That's where we're at?
Oh, I'm surprised you didn't get the comments where you should be doing it for less than that.
Now they're saying Highland Park strong.
Yeah, you got to make sure you're on the next thing.
Oh, I mean, it's going to be Highland Park strong. Absolutely. I mean, it was Uvalde strong. It was E2 strong. I mean,
R. Kelly strong?
Vegas strong. I mean, that's going to be the new hashtag. I mean, is Highland Park strong? And again, my heart goes out to them. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to discount the people that passed away in any way, shape, or form. But is anyone saying Chicago strong?
No.
To the 61 people that just died in the last 30 days?
Well, shot. I don't think all of them died.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, 61 were shot.
Right.
Actually,
I think like 10.
Could be wrong. No, 61 actually were.
Yeah, 61 was shot. I want to say 10 died.
Mike, can you go to Marquin's profile?
Yeah.
He put the numbers earlier today. It was how many were actually dead and then how many were injured. Because I don't want to quote miss wrong numbers, and Marquin's pretty much on point with that.
I'm doing it now. Whoa. No, that's not it. Y'all keep 68 people shot, 8 killed.
There you go.
68 and 8. Let's think about that number right there.
I'm sorry. 10 killed, 62 wounded.
Okay. There you go. So.
Not counting.
We're talking just gun violence. We're not talking about any other violence.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about robberies, assaults, rapes, carjackings. You know what I mean? None of that stuff.
Yep.
Because it'll make sense.
We're only going to reference the gun violence in Chicago. We're not going to reference any other violence because, that goes against people's agendas.
Mm-hmm.
But Superintendent Brown.
Yeah, I saw the interview with his uncle. I think that I don't think his uncle's lying. I think that his uncle perhaps talks like that regularly. I think they're just a family with money that has issues like other families. I don't think that the Crimos are special outside of money. I don't think they're special outside of money. And I think that when we look at these situations, like I said, they're extremely sad. And there's no emphasis on family, and it's even gone so far to the point where they begin to criticize GOP gubernatorial candidate Darren Bailey, who I believe is a state senator, in him allegedly saying, let's move on, as if he was trying to say, let's move on, they're not important. And then when you watch the whole video that he made on his Facebook Live, he was in Skokie, and his parade was shut down in the wake of the Highland Park situation. And then he was giving his thoughts and prayers, making his statement, saying we got to move on because we know the work that has to be done. We know that we have to, in order to make real change, we have to get back to family. We have to get back to values. We have to get back to this. We have to get back to that. And the media just took out that segment, move on, and just made it Darren Bailey says move on. And now it's distracting from the major issues that actually need to be discussed.
Mm-hmm. Almost like when someone said there was nice people on both sides. And that's all they took.
Yes. And matter of fact, yes.
Ooh. And that's the only snippet they took.
And I watched that press conference where 45 said he said a lot of stuff.
Exactly.
That was great. And they just, bam, just that little box right there. And I'm like, what? Another red herring.
Yeah. I mean, think about it this way. This is how I laugh at society, and I love our world. We're the only nation that can literally go to a job interview and your employers find out the worst shit about you and you still get a job. You know what that's called? The presidential debate. Facts. Think about that. The worst shit about you on that podium comes out. Everything that's wrong with you, everything you've ever done wrong comes out on that podium. Yet someone still elects you and you still have a job.
True.
Or how about the fact that literally we listen to people about protection who are protected by protectors who are well trained with firearms and violence to protect people on a regular basis. Let's not get it misconstrued. A person who is literally part of Secret Service, don't get it misunderstood that person is not well trained in violence. Don't get that misunderstood. They're well trained in violence and carry firearms, and some of them are automatic. But automatics were banned in the 80s because no person needed an automatic weapon in the 80s because that's not a necessity for you. But for my guards, yeah, they can have automatic weapons because I'm more important than you. They can put up fences and say, I'm more important than you.
Yeah.
They can tell you what you need to protect yourself while being well protected by some of the best people skilled in violence ever to cross soil.
And here's the question that I have about that too. How many people who have made those statements probably reside in that town? How many people who have supported the anti-gun legislation are from that town of Highland, where if they would have, and see, this is the problem, like I said yesterday, Lakita said it. She said, Mike, just like you said, these small towns don't think that the things can happen there. You should prepare for anything. These shooters don't care where you live. They don't care where you come from. Big crowd events are there. And my question is this to the people of Highland. See, they want to attack the gun. They want to attack mental health. Why didn't you protect your? Can I? Okay. Fuck it.
Be real.
Hey, due to the graphic nature of what I'm saying, just allow me a little latitude, please. Allow me a little latitude.
You should have a lot of latitude compared to what's being said in this world.
Why you ain't protect your whiteness? Why you ain't protect your? They talk about ethnic diversity.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about ethnic diversity. That fucking town is 90+% white.
89.63.
Huh?
89.63.
89.63% white.
0.076% black. 3.92%, I think, were Asian.
And I'm just saying, y'all love using Chicago as a punchline for violence. And you hear black activists all the time sit there and talk about the criminal justice system isn't designed to protect black people. Well, apparently the criminal justice system ain't designed to protect white people, because if that was the case, what happened in Highland Park should not have happened. I can almost assure you every last one of those victims are white. Well, you got some Hispanic ones too, but you get what I'm saying. White. So that's what I would be asking the mayor. You value them at election time, but the police was supposed to serve and protect. And you guys are talking all about this AR-15 shit. None of the bright minds that occupy that police department ever thought that somebody could climb a fucking roof and shoot people from an elevated platform. In my opinion, the Highland Park Police Department was just as complacent as the Uvalde Independent School District Police Department. Because you motherfuckers know it can happen. I'm not talking about the citizens. Look, they want to be oblivious. That's fine. That's why you have people on police departments and in the military that are willing to exact violence so that you can be blind to the truth. What's the purpose of requiring? What is the purpose of requiring that the people who serve on that police department have the best of backgrounds, the highest of knowledge, the best of college degrees, almost need a Yankee white clearance to even get on the department so they can motherfucking ride around and do fucking traffic stops? Yesterday was the day to be able to earn your fucking money.
Every dime.
Yesterday was the day. Don't come to me and sit here and say, well, we're out here now with your AR-15s. No one gives a fuck about it in the aftermath. Very rarely do you see in these active shooter situations, there's a second wave. This ain't motherfucking Pearl Harbor. That was a time to earn your money. All those hot top
bored
you got looking over the parade stand.
Being bored looking over the parade. Yes. That's how you make your money.
That was the time to do that.
If anyone has ever done security, anyone has ever done executive protection, I've told people this all the time. My best money is when it's boring. I do not look for excitement. I don't want excitement. If my job is walking this person from this car to this store to this restaurant, that's easy money.
And I get what you're saying, Ian. Hope I'm saying it right. Incognito. Nice. I get what you're saying, Incognito. Pearl Harbor was a setup to get the country to agree to enter World War II, but we are not going to sit here and ignore the fact that during Pearl Harbor, if what was said actually occurred, there's no way we would get a torpedo attack. The harbor's too shallow. All we got to do is bunch the planes together, bunch the ships together. The only thing we have to worry about is espionage. Well, they showed your ass. Well, there's a large blimp on the radar. Oh, that's just a flight of B-17s coming in from the mainland. And instead of going out there to watch and see on a Sunday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy, the United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces from the Empire of Japan while you all were fucking asleep. And I said it yesterday, American arrogance. This is a fucking first world problem. Because people who live in third world countries will tell you, well, we stay ready all the time. You never know. And yes, you are absolutely correct, Heater. You are absolutely correct. In fact, you ask, I went to Hawaii. I went to Pearl Harbor. And I got the picture of the quote that Admiral Isroku Yamamoto even said, you all putting the trade embargoes on us was like putting a dagger to our throat. You forced our hand and forced us to do what we had to do.
Mm-hmm.
You forced our hand. And what I'm saying is this, dude, that was the time to earn your money. To have the high ground. You got no designated marksman. You got nobody you could have called. This would have been the perfect time. Veteran Overwatch. How many veterans with long guns would have sat up top and easily picked off old buddy?
If allowed.
If allowed. There would have been plenty of veterans that would have drawn. It took me nothing but an hour to make it there. Marquise would have, provided you wanted to do it. Marquise would have been there. Other veterans from around. You're not far away from Great Lakes.
Yep, and I got a 308 with a good ass scope. Don't get it twisted.
I'm just saying.
But then that would hurt their feelings because how free do they really be when people gotta stand over them with guns?
And
well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you like this, hey John, and we both know this: the best Overwatch is the one you don't see.
Man, facts.
Because you know you're not gonna see me. You finna hear something and it's over. Because think about it. The only reason why he got 70 shots off. Matter of fact, let's talk about that. There's a reload involved with 70 shots.
Unless he had a drum magazine, but okay.
But that wasn't retrieved.
Yeah.
And you know they'd have brought that shit up.
Mm-hmm.
So with cops present, over 70 shots were shot, including a reload, and no one found this guy. With a cop's presence because it's a parade. How is that possible? Explain that to me. Please explain that to me. 70 shots, which means there had to be a reload, and no one could pinpoint and say, he's up there. Surround the building.
True. True.
And I'm
7 shots.
I'm saying that maybe they actually couldn't. Because fight or flight kicks in, all you want to hear gunshots. What's a lot of people's first reaction?
Run.
Damn, including the cops?
Yeah.
Fucking
True.
run.
True.
Including the cops?
True.
Hey,
yeah.
Cops retreat so you can figure out where the shooting's coming from and obviously execute a proper plan in order to obviously do it. Like take care of the shooter.
Yeah.
And the thing is, didn't y'all hear me talk about constantly the assumption that these police train?
Right.
The assumption that you think these police do more than what they do?
That's true. And you know what? And after both of y'all just said that and that reality just sunk into my head, I mentioned this on a show way back in the day or whatever. We are to the point where our cops are an exact replica of Demolition Man. Our cops are not trained to deal with this type of violence.
I have said that in our previous live.
About to talk about
we are rolling into Demolition Man like no other.
Yep. Because we're worried about hurting people's feelings. We're worried about bad language. But cops being trained to deal with certain types of violence kind of comes up.
And is that almost ended humanity?
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no? That was in Demolition Man. And now we're on our, you know what I mean, third one with the monkey flu.
And the 3 seashells.
First of all, monkey pox.
Monkey flu, monkey pox is all the fucking same. And then we're going to go to the 3 seashells because we're knocking down too many fucking trees.
Oh, wait. Pause. Now that you bring up the 3 seashells, this was also pushed in the 2022 July 1st mandate that Pritzker just pushed out as one of the laws. Flushable wipes has to have conspicuously put on the bag to say not flushable. What are the 3 she sells is about? We are literally to the point of almost Demolition Man. So you're saying the product that was created with the words flushable wipes are not allowed to be flushed anymore? When their intent literally says flushable wipes?
So it's amazing when we start talking about conspiracy theories, how like previous things match up. How many of the things on The Simpsons have matched up over the years?
They predicted Trump in office. They predicted Schwarzenegger in office. They predicted COVID. I don't know about monkeypox yet.
I just wish Veteran Overwatch was a thing that could have protected those people in high.
Absolutely. But at the end of the day, in the current state of our society, too many people are butthurt by that.
Yep.
I'm not saying I disagree with you, Mike. Again,
yeah, you're fine. You're right.
In a society, too many people are butthurt. We don't want the police in schools because we don't want kids to feel like they're in jail. We don't want people standing over us with guns because we don't want to feel like we're being governed by a military. We don't, you know what I mean? We don't want any guns around us because that hurts our feelings.
And mean words. Don't forget mean words.
Yeah. Abraham Avalos says, Instructor Mike, what are your thoughts when Lake County District Attorney mentioned supporting a ban on AR-15s during the press conference? We got to watch that press conference. Let's watch that press conference because I want to hear what he had to say, and then I will answer that. Let me go to Nikita. Huh?
Lake County said that?
Yeah, we're about to watch the press conference in a minute with him announcing that stuff because it was the U.S. attorney. We're going to watch this, especially while we got the views for sure. Mike, do you think we will get the same law in Tennessee just passed July 1st about criminals during 100% of their time will things will change? No, because people don't care about consequence. People don't care about consequence. If they cared about consequence, a lot of stuff should not be happening. They don't care about consequence, so I don't think that's going to change anything. That's just like people saying, they're praising this Safer Communities Act, stating that, well, straw purchases are now a federal crime. People are going to really be, if you can get charged by the feds. Look, if people were worried about Fed time, they wouldn't sell drugs. If people were worried about Fed time, they're not worried about that shit. They're not worried about it. They don't care about that. They don't care. All right. They don't care about that. All right. Let me get to this video. Thank you all for watching. Please consider sharing, liking, commenting. If you haven't already, if you're on YouTube, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Get the likes up for please get the likes up. That does help the algorithms. If you appreciate this content, I've seen you all say, good show, great stream today. You've heard a lot of great things come from Marquise, from John, from myself, from other people that have been on the panel. Please, I don't mean to be begging you, but it does help the stream, and we're doing this free. We're doing this free, just passing information, because I'm telling you, the things that we don't talk about now will become the things that we talk about when they attempt to try to take all of our firearms, when they attempt to try to, there's other stuff coming. And I never thought I would ever see this stuff in my lifetime. And I'm sure you all didn't ever think you would see this stuff in your lifetime either. But it's just really sad. It really is. It really is sad. You said there was a lull in the shooting. What are we talking about?
In Highland.
Yeah.
There was a reload.
That was
yeah.
Reloading.
Yep. All right, here's a press conference. Let's go on ahead and watch this and see. You obviously got a lot of politicians in the background, from the police chief to the mayor to the U.S. attorney, John Lausch, for the Northern District of Illinois. You got another state's attorney. So let's go on ahead and listen. Here we go.
Sendo, U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, John Lausch. Highland Park Mayor Nancy Rodering. Highland Park Chief of Police Lou Jogman. And we'll begin with State's Attorney Eric Reinhardt. State's Attorney.
Hey, Mike, pause real quick.
Good evening.
Go ahead.
Hey, real quick, I got to bounce out, guys. I got a long day tomorrow.
All right.
real quick, everyone. I started to get in this earlier, and then I went on a whole nother rant. If you get a chance, take a look at our Facebook page, Guardian Concepts. We have a couple veterans events coming up on August 6th and August 13th. There we are looking for help on. I won't obviously dominate the time because I don't want to take away from Highland in any way, shape, or form. So please go on our Facebook, take a look at a couple of those events. If you have questions, reach out, please. We're trying to raise awareness and do some things for local veterans and elderly veterans. I appreciate everyone's time, and I look forward. We going live tomorrow?
We might.
I'm down.
All right. Yep.
So,
down too.
See y'all tomorrow. If not, you know what I mean? If it doesn't happen tomorrow, see y'all next week. Have a great evening.
Tenfold. Be safe, brother. All right, let's get to it. Tracy, Mike, and Marquis said earlier, Mike even made a video about yesterday and about the area and how they thought they couldn't happen. Yeah. Do you believe that open? Let me answer this question before we get there. Do you believe open carry could help a state like Illinois, considering a lot of the time states with open carry experience less gun crime? Also, do you think the lower crime is a result of criminals knowing people are likely carrying, or do you believe it's coincidence? No, open carry won't help us. It's a culture thing. It's a family values thing. It's a respect for yourself, number one, respect for people and their right to coexist in the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We've had concealed carry ever since 2013 and ever since 2014, yes. And ever since 2014, 2016 was one of the highest years of gun violence. We've had the crime that has ebbed and flowed and has spiked, things like that. And so, yes, practical Ken, I have to agree, as Marquise does as well as I do. Open carry just gives the bad guy a tool he can see and take, especially given some of these videos that we have seen and even showcased on this show where people don't even, their holsters are shabby, their situational awareness is horrible, and they've gotten their guns taken away from them. So open carry would just inflate the egos. Now, don't get me wrong. I can't say that in all of Illinois. I will not say that in all of Illinois, because in certain places in Illinois, you could be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But
I will say all of Illinois. And the reason why I'm going to say all of Illinois is because states that have open carry had already created a level of respect where people were like, I don't know if you do have a gun, but if you do have a gun, I can see that gun. There's a strong possibility you might be willing to use it. Now, here in Illinois, there's a different story because our population and our penal system is a joke. There's nothing to fear. Even if everyone knew someone had a gun in Illinois, all it would be that testing to see if you're willing to use it. Where in other states, it's proven that citizens don't mind putting a hot one up in you.
And see, that's the thing to Loco 16. He said, he or she, whomever, please clarify. I disagree. Here in Georgia, everyone is armed and drugs are as bad as Chicago, but they rarely mess with the people. You're talking about
not as bad.
Yeah, you're talking about the South versus the North.
No. I'm gonna say what you just said. If you can say, okay, let's put it. Okay, I disagree.
Okay.
Here in Georgia, everyone is armed and drugs are as bad as Chicago's. Here's the thing. When have you heard us talk about drugs? You're talking about drugs and conflict and weapons. Not once on this show have we brought up the drug problem in Illinois. We really don't care about, I hate to say it, I don't really see a drug problem in Illinois. I haven't heard, we don't hear about drug problems in Illinois. And again, these statements are mine and mine alone. They're not of Mike's. We don't hear about drug problems until they're in the white neighborhoods and some kid OD'd on fentanyl or some kid OD'd on heroin in a better neighborhood.
I concur.
So I'm not going to say, you talking about a drug problem. You can look at people being armed and people and drugs, and you putting the same thing on the side. We just got straight fucking violence. It ain't got nothing to do with drugs. We got straight violence. There is literally a video of a man who's letting his kid out the car. Another man walked in the car and just shot the hell out the man.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't got shit to do with drugs. Chicago is violent, period. We don't need excuses. We don't need drug excuses.
Yeah.
We don't need politician excuses. We just violent as hell in Chicago. But let's be real. There's a reason why Chicago has been allowed to have that much violence. And in my personal opinion, it deals with gentrification. If you eliminate the populace that's in Chicago, then other people can move into those areas and make it better. But that's just my personal opinion.
True. Yep. All right, let's get to the press conference. Here we go. And we appreciate you watching.
My name is Eric Reinhardt. I'm the Lake County State's Attorney. As a resident of Highland Park myself, my family and I grieve with our neighbors over this unimaginable tragedy. On behalf of the State's Attorney's Office, I want to express my condolences to the families of those who lost their lives yesterday in this premeditated and calculated attack. Separate from those 7 lives that were ripped away, over 2 dozen other mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, and neighbors were injured. Hundreds, if not thousands, will be psychologically scarred by yesterday's events. These individuals, our community, and Lake County will never be the same.
You guys are saying it's an echo. I don't know if I can do anything to control that echo. I guess we'll let it play and see what happens. Here we go.
We are grateful to the unbelievably courageous law enforcement officers who were there when the shots were fired right here in this pathway. They and other law enforcement agencies from throughout the state came to this spot of danger. They came to help, they came to protect, they came to comfort, and they came to investigate. Federal agencies, including the FBI, ATF, and U.S. Attorney's Office, have also been critical partners in this investigation, and you will hear a bit more from them this evening. These officers not only ran towards the danger, but worked tirelessly throughout the day and night to investigate and solve this case. I want to also thank all of the community members and business members and leaders who provided us with dozens of videos and photos. We continue our request for those photos and videos. This is still an open and active investigation. Please continue to contact all of the tip lines that we have suggested. To those who are physically and psychologically suffering today in hospitals and in homes throughout our community, we offer our most fervent and urgent prayers. We offer prayers for healing, even though it feels that it may be so far away. I know that Mayor Rodering and Highland Park Police Chief Lou Jogman, Lake County, and our federal partners have already started the critical work of supporting the individuals who need us so much while they are in the throes of trauma. Today, our office deployed victim witness counselors and licensed therapists also to Highland Park. Dozens of private individuals have volunteered to help. This has been one of the most uplifting things I've ever seen in Lake County's history. The community has come together, even in the throes of trauma. The loss of life and these devastating injuries and the overwhelming psychological trauma demand we seek justice and that we take broader action to protect life. Today, the Lake County State's Attorney's Office has charged Robert Cremo III with 7 counts of first-degree murder for the killing spree that he has unleashed against our community. These are just the first of many charges that will be filed against Mr. Cremo. I want to emphasize that. There will be more charges. We anticipate dozens of more charges centering around each of the victims. Psychological victims, physical victims, attempt murder charges, aggravated discharge charges, aggravated battery charges. There will be dozens of more charges against Mr. Cremo. But these 7 counts of first-degree murder will lead to a mandatory life sentence should he be convicted, without the possibility of parole.
It doesn't bring the lives back.
Well, don't do shit. Who cares
None
about
of these charges would be possible again without the unbelievable efforts of law enforcement. I cannot thank them enough.
or your federal government?
I have to thank the men and women of the Lake County State's Attorney's Office who have been working with law enforcement since the moment that we identified a suspect. We continue to work with our federal partners to understand every aspect of this well-orchestrated and carefully planned crime. Tomorrow morning at the Lake County Courthouse,
that you knew would
we will
happen.
ask a judge to hold Mr. Cremo without the possibility of bail. As I mentioned, our support for victims started today, both from the state's attorney's office, from the mayor's office, from the city of Highland Park, from the police department, from the FBI Victim Assistance Group. We will guide them through the court process and deal with the trauma that will ripple forever outside of the courtrooms. But how do we make sure that there are no more victims? What should have been a celebration of freedom has ended in despair for our community. All of the people who died steps from here lost their freedom. All of it. Every ounce of freedom that they had. The freedom to love, the freedom to learn, and the freedom to live a full life. Their freedom matters too. We must do more as we think and reflect upon their freedom on this July 5th. Illinois has a strong red flag law that keeps communities safe and respects everyone's rights.
Here we go.
We must vastly increase awareness and education about this red flag law called the Illinois Firearm Restraining Order. The goal of this tool is to ensure the safety of the individual and those around them. It allows courts to temporarily remove guns and prevent the purchase of new guns by individuals who pose a significant risk. As I said, this tool allows temporary removal from the subject and prohibits the new purchase during the duration of the order. It allows individuals to stabilize their behavior, seek treatment, and access other resources that our community must invest in to give those who need help. But separate from these red flag laws, which are very powerful in Illinois, we should also ban assault weapons in Illinois and beyond.
Highland Park has an assault weapons ban. It did not work.
The assault weapon ban was implemented in 1994 with bipartisan support and with the support of law enforcement. It lasted for 10 years, and studies have shown that mass shootings like what happened yesterday went down during those 10 years.
Columbine.
That same ban in Illinois and beyond.
Columbine.
In the entire country. The Lake County State's Attorney's Office stands with the people of Highland Park. As I said earlier, this is where I am raising my family.
You notice he's not mentioning that Highland Park has an assault weapons ban,
will
right?
Continue to work with all of our law enforcement partners to continue to build this case. As I said, it is an active and ongoing investigation. Our victim services unit will answer every question, every text, every phone call, and every concern. We will stand with the survivors of this awful crime for as long as is necessary. In the courtroom, we will seek the maximum sentence against this offender, not because we seek vengeance, but because justice and the healing process demand it. As we go forward in the courtroom and in the community, we must do everything we can to make sure the horror that marked these streets, that echoed from these buildings, never happens again. Thank you very much. At this time, I would introduce U.S. Attorney and really our partner in this investigation so far, U.S. Attorney John Lausch.
Thank you. My name is John Lausch. I'm the United States Attorney here in the Northern District of Illinois. I want to echo some of the same words we just heard from State's Attorney Reinhardt and commend all of the law enforcement partners and agencies who are represented here today and all of our first responders for everything they did to bravely put their lives on the line to help others in need. Our office, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and our other Department of Justice components most notably the FBI and the ATF, have been working very closely with our state and local law enforcement partners to investigate this horrific attack. We have been and we will remain in regular communication with these partners, and in particular the Lake County State's Attorney's Office. And I've been in regular contact with State's Attorney Reinhardt since the beginning of this investigation. These state murder charges are appropriate at this time. We will continue to deploy our federal resources in collaboration with these state and local partners to ensure that individuals who commit horrific acts of violence like this using firearms are held accountable. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to the Chief of the Highland Park Police Department, Lou Jogman.
The last approximately 36 hours have been a lesson in the duality of humanity. While the actions that brought us all together expose the cruelty and callousness that one person could show to people he did not know in taking their lives, the unwavering commitment of our Highland Park team, the drive and determination of those who assisted us in making this arrest, and the outpouring of love and support from the community and from people across the nation and the globe have shown us the best in humanity. The American spirit weaved throughout this response to this horrific and absolutely senseless act of violence. We would not be standing here this afternoon announcing the arrest of this suspect without the assistance of countless law enforcement agencies from multiple counties, from the Illinois State Police, FBI, ATF, NIPUS, Lake County Coroner's Office, the hospital staff, our medical community, and Deputy Chief Chris Cavelli of the Lake County Major Crimes Task Force. Thank you. To the Highland Park community, your strength has buoyed our team through the darkest moments. To our City of Highland Park team, the Fire Department, Public Works, our City Manager's Office, our Finance, and our Community Development Departments, your contributions have been invaluable, and we thank you. To Mayor Rotering and the City Council, thank you for your sustained engagement and unwavering support. And to the men and women with whom I serve alongside in the Highland Park Police Department, it is an honor and a privilege.
Boy, get the fuck out of here. Y'all didn't do shit.
Look, no, for this community inspires me. I am proud of Illinois law enforcement.
Hell no.
At this time, I would like to introduce Lake County Sheriff Deputy Chief Chris Cavelli, who's been a spokesperson for the Major Crimes Assistance Team.
Man, please.
Thank you, Chief. I'm just going to read a brief statement on behalf of the Victim Service Response Team of the FBI. Beginning tomorrow, the FBI's Victim Service Response Team will be working in conjunction with local, state, and federal aid groups to staff a family assistance center. At the Family Assistance Center, victims will be offered trauma counseling, government aid assistance, and if necessary, financial assistance. Victims are not just those physically injured in yesterday's events, but also those experiencing emotional distress. The center will open tomorrow, July 6th at noon. Victims of yesterday's incident are invited to access available services at the Highland Park High School, and that's located at 433 Vine Avenue in Highland Park. The Family Assistance Center will be available from noon tomorrow until 9 p.m., Thursday and Friday from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., and thereafter as needed. Additional information regarding the return of personal effects left at the scene will also be released tomorrow. With that, we are going to open it up for some questions. I would just ask for a little bit of patience. We have a lot of stakeholders that are joining us today, so we can filter who is best to answer each of the questions asked. Phil?
Chris, can we ask a question to the State's Attorney, please?
Yes.
Mr. State's Attorney, you went out of your way to note the red flag laws. We now know that this individual had contacts with law enforcement in 2019, where in one of the contacts, he said he wanted to kill everyone in his family. A number of knives were taken away from him at that time. Should that have been a qualifying event under the red flag law, which would have prevented him buying firearms in 2020 and 2021?
We have to look at every case on a case-by-case basis. I don't know the internal process of the Illinois State Police in terms of after that report was taken. We know there was not an application for a FOID pending at that time. The current red flag laws, you have a process where things are reported to the Illinois State Police with respect to FOIDs, and then you have the red flag laws, which is what I was referring to, which were passed in 2019 or effective in 2019, in terms of getting a court order where family members and other individuals who know the person at issue have to go to a court. So my reference to the red flag laws refers to that regime. With respect to the Illinois State Police, that has to do with the FOID application process.
So if I'm hearing you right, what you're saying is possibly his qualifying events were before the fact, before he actually had applied for a FOID, obtained a FOID, and purchased.
I would definitely refer all of those questions to the Illinois State Police in terms of that internal process back in 2019.
That's the same shit Aurora said.
Timeline. Does this mean that he had a legal guardian who sponsored his FOID card? Did he get his FOID card before he was 21? Did he have a legal guardian who sponsored it? And if so, are you looking at charges at all?
I am absolutely not going to get into that level of detail on the investigation in our process.
Okay,
All right, everyone. Let's make sure you understand something correctly. At the age of 19, he applied for a FOID card. His father signed off. Here's the thing that people don't know about under 21 FOID cards. They expire when you're 21. So for them to go back and say, well, let's go get the daddy for the 2019 FOID card doesn't make any sense when at 21 you got to reapply.
That's true.
So let's help everyone. So what he just said was 100% incorrect when he said, well, we should go, are there going to be any charges for the father for signing for a FOID card in 2019? No, he didn't have the gun in 2019. He had the gun at the age of 21 and used the gun at the age of 21 and used his own FOID card at the age of 21. Big ass difference. A FOID card is what we use in Illinois to buy firearms and ammo. Please continue. Bullshit ass.
Probably multiple people can take it. For somebody who planned an escape, dressing as a woman, said out of home, do you have any theory why somebody would leave a weapon, an easily traceable weapon on the crime scene that could lead to your identity being known easily and swiftly?
I'm not going to do it.
Investigators are very thoroughly looking at every aspect of this. There are a number of theories on the table as to why.
That's a good ass. That's a good ass question.
I don't want to get into and speculate
That's a great
anything
question.
at this point. You know, there is still a lot of investigating.
Why would he
work to
leave the
go.
gun?
But
He
that
knows
is
it'll come back to him
something
behind.
investigators are looking into.
I mean, essentially, did he leave it to be us? He couldn't make his escape easily if he wasn't holding a large rifle.
That's very possible. It's very clear to investigators he attempted to blend in with the rest of the victims who were fleeing the scene. Carrying a rifle, I would imagine, wouldn't allow one to blend in very well.
That's true too.
He walked in with it.
Probably had it in that book bag.
Exactly.
The weapon led to him directly.
Like leaving your driver's license.
Sorry, can I
Do
get
we know
back?
at this point why he went to the Madison area before coming back?
Investigators are still looking into that. They're still working many different angles. We do know he went on a drive following the events, but as to why, that's not something I can get into right now.
Question for U.S. Attorney Lausch. You said at this point state charges are appropriate. When do you deem that federal charges will enter?
I think the best answer for that is to echo the same points that were made. This is an ongoing investigation, and it really wouldn't be appropriate for me to comment any further at this time. But that the charges right now, these are very appropriate charges right now.
Fair to say federal charges are coming.
It should not read anything into it one way or the other. It would not be appropriate for to comment one way or the other whether or not there will be federal charges.
Can you describe when local threats land on federal radar and what tools you have to identify and prevent these things before they happen?
Okay, so there's a lot packed into that question. Here's what I will say: is the partners that are here, okay, and in particular FBI and ATF are the ones that are standing with me. They work every single day in order to mitigate threats that they learn of. And this is a particular instance when we had the horrific attack that happened yesterday, how they came to right away in order to help law enforcement ultimately be able to make this case and to bring the appropriate charges in state court. But again, at this point, I think it's fair to say from our end, this is an ongoing investigation. I'm very proud to be up here with my colleague from the Lake County State's Attorney's Office, but it really wouldn't be appropriate for me to comment any further about whether or not any federal charges are likely.
Chris, can you give us any further clarification on the weapons, where he obtained them, and what the enumeration was?
So what I know firsthand at this time is that 2 of the weapons were obtained within the region here. Those were 2 of the rifles. The rifle used in the attack was purchased by him. And I just want to follow up on the question that you asked a little earlier. It's important to note Highland Park Police, when they responded to that 2019 incident, they removed the weapons that Cremo possessed. There were no firearms at that time to be removed. So as the state's attorney said, the red flag laws, there were no red flag laws to go after firearms in that home at that time.
Now, you said the rifles were obtained in the region, but there were there were 2 rifles and was it 4 handguns?
I can't say 4 handguns. There were a total of 5 guns.
I'm sorry, 3 handguns.
5 firearms that he possessed.
Okay, what about you said the 2 rifles in the region? What about the remainder?
They were bought in Illinois. I'd have to get specifics as to exactly where.
And he got the toy card before he was 21. Is that true?
Yes.
Plausible deniability.
Sponsored by a legal guardian.
I don't want to speak to the process of the Illinois State Police. I don't have enough of their internal information to accurately respond. Yes, sir.
You lying son of a bitch.
What happened with the when you went in the house and got that? Did that appear on a Floyd investigation? Would that say somebody went in the house and got some knives off and stuff?
Again, Highland Park Police notified the Illinois State Police. Where it goes from there, I don't want to speak to it.
All right, your question.
Family at all, have they been cooperative with the investigation? Do you have any reason to believe that they may have known things?
At this point, we don't have reason to believe that they may have known things, but the investigation is still very active. Investigators have a lot of legwork to do still.
Has the family been cooperative with the investigation?
What I'll say is investigators have spoken to the family. I don't want to gauge their level of cooperation one way or another.
Is it a high-classified magazine? If so, how many rounds were in that magazine?
The magazines held approximately 30 rounds of rifle ammunition. Thank you.
So that's 3 reloads.
How many?
Yep, that's definitely 3 reloads.
There's been a significant.
So, like I said, how is it possible 70 rounds, 3 reloads, and not 1 cop response? 70 rounds, 3 reloads, not 1 cop response. How is that possible?
And Abraham caught that.
And you're never gonna hear. You're never gonna hear.
State police rep in the thing, yeah.
But here's the irony of that. There, who was that? Abraham. Wasn't Illinois State Police a part of the?
They were. Yes, they were definitely up there.
So they were there for the manhunt on the 4th, but not available for the press conference on the 5th.
Facts. And hold on, Illinois State Police is a part of almost every, if not in fact every, investigative team. They were on South Suburban Major Crimes. They're on North Taft. They're on NIPAS. They're on Lake County. They're on all of them.
So it's just like I told you, bro. My conspiracy theory went high as hell today when I was like, y'all not making no sense. They're not making no sense. Even the reporters was like, so he was smart enough to disguise himself, but not smart enough to have a weapon that couldn't trace back to him? Really? So you have a criminal mastermind that's a dumbass. Am I understanding this correctly?
No, you got a criminal mastermind looking like strawberry shortcake and nobody paid attention to his ass. Like,
bruh. And then he's like, well, we don't know because he couldn't walk back with the crowd. The backpack he's wearing, in my opinion, would have been the backpack he used to bring it in.
Oh, facts. All you got to do is separate upper from lower.
Exactly.
That's it.
You throw it in the backpack.
Pop, separate that. Man, please.
Yep. And what they do is they try to, and like I said, this was, in my opinion, a session of how hard you can pat your own back. Because this ain't had shit to do with the victims, and it had shit to do with the criminal. It was about how well did we do to respond to this. I want to thank so-and-so and so-and-so because y'all did so-and-so and so-and-so, and we responded so quick. We worked day and night. First of all, you didn't work damn day and night. Right. You caught him before the sun went down.
Right.
Stop it.
And hold on now. Why wasn't North Chicago police as a part of that press conference when they were the ones who initiated the traffic stop and took him into custody.
Because they weren't important and they weren't a part of the scripted performance that we just saw. Because if they're not part of the scripted performance, then they can't say what needs to be said. That's why that dude backed off. Oh, I can answer that question. You need to ask him.
Matter of fact, I'll give you one even better. You know I'm gonna go there. Do you know the Lake County Sheriff is black? You didn't see the old black dude in the back with the 4 stars?
Wait, didn't he get caught in Lake County?
Yes.
Or US 41?
Yes. So why do you have the deputy chief, who's the spokesperson of the Lake County Major Crimes Task? How do you have the chief of police speaking, but then you don't have old black Cleotis in the back?
Because he wasn't given the script. He wasn't given the script.
Why you didn't have old Cleotis as a part of Lake County Sheriff's Police or Sheriff's Department? We are here to support our law enforcement partners in this unspeakable. No. Jennifer, you're missing it. And my thing is this. You all have been hanging in this show for long enough. None of us on this panel are racist. But if you think we're not going to address the obvious when we see it, you got one thing coming. I said what the fuck I said. I know who he is. He was in the background. He got just as much of a right to say something because it occurred in his county.
That's where they caught him. They caught him in his county. And no credit was given to his county where he was caught.
But that's what you don't understand, Jennifer, about politics. You said if he wanted to speak, he could have. Not if he wasn't given permission to speak.
Or given the script that I keep telling you they was reading from.
I'm telling you.
It was a script. This is nothing that came out of nowhere. No, these are official players who are a part of this same thing. Like I said, this is the most well-packaged deal I've ever seen and wrapped up in a bow. And they keep hinting at the same thing. Life in prison. Life in prison. Life in prison. If this boy don't go to Gen Pop, my theory is going to be complete.
Yeah. Oh.
Because he's going to end up with 3 hots and a cot.
Yep. No, you're fine. You're fine, Jennifer. Jennifer.
Oh, no. Yeah, Jennifer. We didn't assume that. No, we didn't assume that.
You good.
And again, we know what you're talking about because a lot of people drive towards race when it comes to stuff because it was mentioned. I know I saw it today. How come this guy who shot 30 people got arrested and this guy who ran from the cops got shot 60 times? Well, one of these people who we're talking about didn't shoot at the cops.
Right.
One of these people we're talking about did not shoot at the cops in the process of trying to get away from them.
Yeah. You said Lake County Sheriff Eidelberg was at the parade. He did provide minor first aid to one victim. I did witness it. Okay, that's cool. But what we're talking about is why I wanted to hear him say something too. He the Lake County
wanted to hear him talk about his police force and how they found him and arrested him.
Hello.
That's what I want to hear.
Hello.
Because like I said, I'm sorry, man. I might end up disappeared or something. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you like this. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
If none of the stuff that was done, and it's not like, okay, let's play devil's advocate, okay? So you came to the parade dressed as a girl, okay?
Strawberry shortcake.
Something in your brain housing group said, take off this costume, shoot 30 people, put the costume back on, and blend in.
Maybe you shoot in the.
Wouldn't it make more sense to come in costume, shoot in costume, leave in costume? So why is it that you have the ability to say that who we're looking for is a white male with long hair and a white or blue shirt?
Right.
And like I said, everything was done. The shooting happened at what, 10:30?
Yep.
Okay. What time was he arrested? Because I remember texting you.
Shit. Let me go to that text message. I think
1847.
Yeah.
1847. So we're gonna say shooting at 10:30, arrest at 1845. So we're talking about 8 hours and 15 minutes. That includes running the gun to find out who it belongs to on a national holiday. That includes him going home and for some magical reason deciding to drive his mother's car anywhere after he just got away with a perfect crime.
Right.
With the description of who he was before they knew who that gun belonged to, but was in costume. Well, I'm not trying to be the person who talks about the magic bullet on the grassy knoll, but
right.
I feel bullshit is at an all-time high here because it makes no sense. It's too perfectly fit, and that press conference, like I just said, wasn't about how they did it. It was about how well we did.
We found his class picture.
He the one in the green dress? And again,
I'm sorry.
That is scary. And like I said, I'm sorry. I believe what I believe, and I'm going to stick to this. They let people get killed. Let this happen to prove and push an agenda. Because like I said, I really want you to understand something. Parades have cops. Parades have cops there.
Right.
Because someone has to block those streets off and make sure people don't come down those streets. He was shooting in a major intersection.
Right.
Of Central and 22nd, was it?
Central
and 22nd Street.
Yeah.
He was shooting in a major intersection of Central and 22nd Street. He shot 30 times, reloaded, shot 30 times, reloaded, shot 10 times, stopped, got down from the roof, dropped the gun, and blended in.
Yeah.
So you shot 70 rounds with reloads, and not one cop showed up to come get you.
Where were the 70 rounds?
30.
Where were the casings? You know, them casings be everywhere. So nobody didn't see no casings coming from the rooftop?
No, and like I said, the only thing is that the professional thing that a lot of people don't know about, unless you've been trained, is to identify the report of the round or of the muzzle of the gas escaping.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way you're going to pinpoint where this person is at. But, and I do mean but, if there are people on both sides of the street and this person is shooting above my head, there's nothing in my brain housing group that says he's up here. And nobody reacted. Not one cop reacted to that. But what you just watched was a whole video of patting each other on the back on how great of a job they did.
True. Yeah, I'm not happy about that at all.
Hell no, and they shouldn't be. They happy about the fact that you got a dude who already shot 30 people, empty reload, got away, and it was fine police work that found him. I'm sorry, I'm not going, and I'm not believing it. I can't believe that. that was an orgy of evidence, and it makes no sense with a person in a disguise that you pinpointed who the shooter was before you released this photo. You pinpointed who the shooter was before you released this photo, and he was dressed as a girl the whole time.
And got away.
And I want to mind you, people, if you don't know what a person looks like with an AR-15 up to their face, I would say 75, if not 80% of their face is covered. I could do a simple version with my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And this phone is not as wide as an AR-15. So if I'm here and I'm shooting, you just identified me as a white male with long hair between the age of 18 to 22. Yep. This is you identifying me with this much information. Come on, man, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Please stop it. I'm not going. I don't believe it. Y'all set that stuff up. Y'all allowed these people to die to push an agenda. And that's all the hell it is.
Especially when you got the FBI report of active shooter incidents that say that open spaces with pedestrians and high traffic is a dead giveaway that it's going to happen here. You got the blueprint right here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We've been going strong for 2 hours and 41 minutes. We can continue this conversation. Yeah, we can continue this conversation tomorrow. Come on back tomorrow for more on this conversation because it's not over with. Because we need to have some solutions that we, the people, can start to do. Because I'm telling you, tomorrow's going to be a solution. Damn, Alea, you just not come on. Tomorrow's going to be a solution show, y'all.
Yep.
Y'all come on back, please. Tomorrow is going to be a solution show. Solutions. Because until we start to make family matter, it's not going to stop. Okay, you just landed. It's not going to stop. Until we start to make family matter, it's not going to stop, y'all. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. It's going to be more. It's going to be more. Whether it's an agenda or not, it's going to be more.
Mm-hmm. A lot more.
And I don't want it to be new. Don't you high rolling, eat time my bow tie Christians. I love you. Don't get me wrong. I believe in God too. But don't you be talking about some, oh my God, don't be speaking that into existence. Fuck that. It is what it is. Until family matters, it will continue. So tomorrow's got to be about solutions. 8 o'clock, same time tomorrow. We're going to be back. Marquise, any final thoughts?
Stop playing with people.
Stop
believing that this stuff can't happen in your neighborhood. Stop believing this can't happen at your events. I'm sorry. I'm not saying you need to go out here and you need to be armed to the teeth every time you go somewhere. But yesterday, Mike was talking about the situation, and a lot of people made comments about, well, as a concealed carrier, I would have did. Shut up.
You mean it did a motherfucker?
Okay, shut up. I'm gonna tell you right now. As a concealed carrier versus an AR-15 being shot from the high ground at full advantage, unless you are trained and understand how to look for the report of the round of the gun and how to get there inconspicuously without being shot, you are just as helpless as an unarmed person there. Right. So stop it.
Right.
Most people that even own a gun, in my personal opinion, who went out there and got the concealed carry, you probably wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. So stop it. Okay. You hear the sound of an AR-15 in real life. I'm not talking about no AR-15 when your ass at the gun range and you put the hearing protection on and you're like, yeah, that gun doesn't even sound that loud. Stop it. That gun sounds loud when you don't realize your ass is being shot at. That's one of the loudest sounds you will ever hear.
And then
is a bullet whizzing past your head.
And then you got auditory exclusion too.
That's if you get an auditory occlusion. So again, I'm going to tell you like this. I'm going to keep it 100. Unless you have been there where you are trained to run towards the noise. If you are trained to run towards the noise, I can back you up 100% that as a concealed carrier, you would have done X, Y, Z. But guess what? One of the things as a concealed carrier you need to be focused on. You need to be focused on not being a part of a murder. Your job as a concealed carrier is to stop murder. And what I mean by that, your ass from getting murdered.
Hello.
Don't become part of the body count because you believe you are brave enough to go run towards a building when the AR-15 is being shot. Stop it.
Get the fuck away.
Mike, I said it multiple times. Concealed carry is enough to get your ass killed. Not killed, killed with a T. All right? And the reason why is because you get the training, you get your gun, you find a holster, and you're like, yeah, I made it. Wrong. You didn't make it. There's more to it than this. I'm not saying you need to go out there and get a class in bravery. No, I'm not saying that shit. There is no bravery without fear. There is no bravery without fear. And if you out here as the baddest motherfucker in the jungle and you have no fear, you will lie to yourself and you will lie to everyone around you. Everyone has the fear.
And here's this. And
that's what makes you brave, is that you can admit that you're scared.
And if you not ready to die, you ain't ready to be a hero. If you ain't ready to die, you are not ready to be a hero. Because all heroes have made up in their mind at that time that what they wanted to do to help others was greater than the fear of death itself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
they was like, we gonna die anyway. Y'all ready? Let's go. What
I'm telling you, it takes a special type of person to be the person that run towards the fire, that run towards the burning building, that run towards the building that's about to collapse, to run towards that fault line when people are falling into it, to run towards that well when that kid just fell into it and go inside and try to get him. It takes a special type of person to go inside that house during a domestic, hoping and praying you can do this without incident or death. It takes a special kind of person to do this type of stuff. I'm not saying you not. I'm not saying you are. I'm saying it takes a special kind of person. And my thing is this, and we've said it before, know who you are. Know who you are. We talked about the 100 soldiers. There's 80 soldiers. There's 100 soldiers on the battlefield. 80 of them are just targets. 10 are real fighters. 9 are warriors. And 1, just that 1, is the one that's going to get everyone back home. And that is the part that people need to understand. Which one are you? And I digress on that.
Incognito, I'm going to end with this. You said that's a big problem with all this madness. Too many unstable people able to admit that they're afraid, bottling it up and taking out on everyone else. You know why they're afraid to admit that they're afraid? Because when they tried to admit to their parents that they were afraid of their parents and the extra ass whoopings and the abuse and the one parent fighting the other and the constant family bickering and the beating the kids for what they did, what they didn't do, what they thought about doing, taking out all of their pain and trauma on these children because they had these children for their own self-esteem without any acknowledgement or any consideration as to their future outcomes. When they tried to tell their parents the truth and the parents couldn't take the truth, so now you're teaching the child to lie. When one child tells the one parent something and then that child gets in trouble because the other parent brings noise on that issue, and you silence these kids, and all that constant pressure being built up on the inside of them to the point where now they feel hurt and free to use everyone else as a punching bag, as they have been punched all their lives as a childhood during the most formidable years. And that's the problem we're not addressing. Because parents vote, kids don't.
And until you pay bills, you ain't got no opinion.
You ought to be seen and not heard. Well, I bet you heard Eric Harrison, Dylan Klebo. I bet you heard Adam Lanza. I bet you heard Robert Kimo, whatever the fuck his last name is. I bet you heard them now. And that's the part that we're not talking about. We will sentence them to their death, but we won't address the trauma that made them so.
Nope. We'll admonish them, but we won't address what caused them to be there in the first place. Which is why we love our prison systems, right?
Ooh, and don't let me come down the motherfucking black community.
You already said we got to close shop. It's 2:51. I mean, 2 hours and 51 minutes. You better write it down for tomorrow because that's part of the solutions.
Yes. Bye. Y'all get it. We just ended that shit. Cole just said bye. Y'all come back tomorrow. Oh my God. Treating our children like possessions and possessions as our children. Oh. Y'all come on back. Tomorrow's a solution show.
Look at the Kardashians.
Ho! And with that, we are out. Go down there to Chicago Precision Service Survival. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Friends here. Y'all,
because you have to understand that self-defense is a serious business. We do carry forces, advanced forces. Make a difference.
One of the tactics that would increase or decrease
in the two-way community.
All right, y'all introduce this.
Let's go. Kid, give him 100.
Johnny
You already know what it is.
I saw that, and I've done my share. I'm about to put yours up here too. Wow, look at this one. My comment is